Hey, how's it going? I was just fixing my audio, but we have a lot going on right now and a lot to cover and a lot to catch up on as well. Starting up with the catch-up stuff, we got to catch up with Sarah Boone with her trial stuff. I predicted that it was going to get postponed, and seems like it will be. We also have some catch-up stuff with Kohberger stuff as well, with the Idaho student murders. And then, I don't know. I guess we're just going to see where this goes. There's some other cases that I might cover today. I might not. I know Taylor Schabusiness is going to have her she's going to have like a jury trial next week. They're going to do a jury selection. I honestly thought that might get pushed back though, because I think they had a psychologist to come on to evaluate her. And she just doesn't really seem like the type of person that's like, I don't know. She seems a little bit crazy. But yeah, we'll see if that gets pushed back as well. And then additionally, there's been a lot of stuff that's been popping up in the news recently with, the New York serial killer that's been arrested. And I don't know, that's a little crazy one. I haven't looked into that as well, but I do want to read the whole document that New York Times released. It's about like a 32-page document. I want to talk about that. And maybe we'll watch some like court TV videos on JonBenet Ramsey murder. I don't know. The title says new confession. So I don't know if it's a confession to her murder or if it's a confession to, I don't know, maybe being obsessed with her. I'm just reading the video description right now, but maybe we'll take a look into that. Hi, Brandon. How are you doing today? How's it going? How is everyone? Mariah, hello. I hope you guys had a good weekend. Really, Gigi? The JonBenet thing is insane. I've been following that case for maybe like 2 years now. It was one of those where it's just like an unsolved murder, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just like so weird how they never caught anyone. I heard the crime scene was kind of like trampled all over as well, so it's just kind of a whole mess. But I have not caught up with a lot of stuff. But yeah, Brennan, I appreciate your message. Love to you and your baby Steve. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I don't know. I was watching some true crime stuff here and there, but I feel like sometimes when you're dealing with like a loss, you just don't want to like handle, I don't know, you just don't want to like watch true crime stuff sometimes. So I took a little bit of break from it, and then I saw some of the, YouTube news and headlines, stuff like that. One of the most disturbing ones was probably the Gannon Stout photos, the autopsy photos being leaked. I don't know. When I read about that, I found out, I think when Steve was in the hospital, and usually I try to go to bed early because, like I have a sleep schedule and everything, but that popped on my YouTube feed, and I like went into like a whole I don't know, deep dive about that one. That was pretty fucking disturbing. I don't know. But I hope you guys have been well, How are you feeling? I think right now, I don't know, it's just like you're going through all the different stages of grief at the same time. So for those of you guys who don't know, our little Corgi Stevie passed away. He had a obstruction in his small intestine, and even though, the surgery is one of those things that has like a pretty decent success rate, you get the obstruction out, the dog recovers, but unfortunately, a couple hours after his surgery, he was fine. So fine to the point that they didn't even bother to call us to tell him that he was awake, even though they told us they might be busy, which I understood. But yeah, they didn't even give us a call and say hey, come by, see your dog. He's away from surgery. He's doing fine. By the time that they did call us, it was like, oh my God, your dog's dying. You need to come here now because the dog collapsed. And I was like, okay, well, that pretty much fucking sucks. But yeah, so we're dealing with the little Corgi guy. He passed away. He was supposed to turn 11 years old in a couple of weeks. And, honestly, this whole thing has made me realize that I think he was just a chronic eater of just weird, random stuff. Because he had pancreatitis when he was 5 years old. And we thought it was because I was trying to switch him over to a new food diet. Maybe I didn't do a good job at slowly transitioning. But I'm thinking he might have ate something, because during that time we did have 2 roommates. And usually when you got roommates, sometimes a dog gets in the trash and stuff like that. But I don't know, I think he ate something. And then about 3 years ago, when we went grocery shopping really quick, he climbed on our couch. He jumped over to our dining room table. And then he got a little 100 milligrams of edibles that he ate. We took him to the hospital because we thought he was having seizures. The doctor was like, no, your dog's just really high. Yeah, I don't know. Stevie just likes to get into weird stuff. But the thing is, Shiro will do it in front of you. Shiro will eat shit in front of you and he doesn't give a fuck, right? Steve is really incognito. He does it when no one's home, when no one's around. And then when he throws up, he likes to hide it so you can't find it, So yeah, I'm just really sad we lost our little Stevie, our little Corgi. But I did have a Rain mention that Steve is probably just, up in heaven bossing all the other dogs. And I could totally see him doing that. So yeah, we're just going through all the different stages of grief right now, But I really do miss the little guy. We got a digital photo frame where his videos and pictures have been cycling through. I think I'm gonna get like a ginormous digital frame though, and just like smack in the living room. I don't know. There's like all these weird small stuff that I'm just like doing right now. But yeah, anyways, thank you so much. I appreciate your guys' message. Thank you for everything. Thank you for reaching out. But yeah, life happens. I watched all the videos of him and I realized that we paid a lot of attention to him. We gave him a really good life and we try to take him out outside as much as we can just so he's not like cooped up in the house, and we did a lot for him. So watching those videos made me just really happy, about what a good life we gave him. But yeah, anyways, honestly, I prefer you being authentic, taking a break when you need over being a slave to your YouTube channel. I did stream on Twitch and it made me feel good because sometimes, if you're kind of just like alone in your thoughts, things just get really dark. So it feels nice to kind of talk to someone sometimes. But yeah, honestly, like, I don't know if you guys can tell, my YouTube channel is just basically, I do whatever the fuck I want because it's like all over the place, My YouTube channel, sometimes it's true crime, sometimes it's vlogs, sometimes it's stream stuff, sometimes video games. It's just all over the place. Tip for anyone who wants to start a YouTube channel, you usually want to focus on like a niche thing. You don't want to be like all over the place, but my YouTube channel is basically just for me. And, the reason why we started doing all this like true crime stuff, because I've always liked true crime. I don't really have any friends or, Dennis isn't really into true crime stuff. So it's kind of nice to have like true crime stuff to like, you can talk to like other people about. So that's why I like watching all the court stuff. And it's really cool that you guys are interested as well. You like bullied me to Mario Kart is what you mean. I was supposed to play Mario Kart yesterday, but we haven't. Okay. Sarah Boone, is she going to trial? She is going to go to the trial, but, it seems like things are being pushed back. They were lawyers just like really busy. Apparently her trial was pushed back because the lawyer had another murder case to do. I don't know, it got pushed back. She had like 6 different lawyers working her case. It's a whole mess, but they are gonna do an update for Sarah Boone on this Friday. Yeah, July 21st. So we'll see what happens. From what I last heard, they were having a hard time finding some expert witnesses. I guess some expert witnesses just didn't really want anything to do with this case. And also this case is pretty, it's getting a lot of notoriety, and maybe they didn't want to get any hate or anything like that. But I mean, I hope she finds an expert witness and I hope they're able to proceed with the trial because this trial has been pushed back for, I don't know, it's been pushed back so many times. Again, remember, this happened back in 2020, I think. It's been 3 years now that she's just sitting there, but Ambers are available. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for your messages, though. I do appreciate it. One thing that I did realize from this, I always thought like when someone's dealing with death, that like sometimes people don't want to reach out because, it's like awkward. They feel like, oh, I don't want to remind them that someone died. But I feel like the people that reached out to me, it has really made me feel better. Or just like, like people reaching out or like saying messages and stuff like that. Like you don't have to write anything special. It's just like, hey, I'm thinking of you. Or like, hey, I'm so sorry, my condolences. Just like small messages like that. It actually really makes a difference, which I didn't realize. Like I usually try to reach out to people when something happens in their life. But sometimes I'm just like, oh, it's probably like they're probably inundated with like so many messages. Maybe they don't want to deal with it. But I think it helps, it helps to really reach out to people. Okay, surprised how many of these criminals don't take a plea deal. I don't know if Sarah Boone. Well, Sarah Boone is, we kind of got the narcissistic vibes, like she thinks that she's not guilty, She said that she was just playing hide and go seek. She was just playing tag. She went upstairs really quick to take a little nappy and she woke up and oh my god, she forgot that George was in the suitcase. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. Hi, Adam. How are you doing today? How's it going? Oh, Dr. Spiegel. I want to say, I think we ran into someone. Oh, no, I didn't tell you guys the story yet. Oh, my God. Maybe for a different day. But Steve's vet doctor was very bizarre. But I think it's because she was new and she hasn't been numb to like animals dying yet. But she was a very, I don't know, probably not the best person for us to deal with at the time being because she was very weird. I could tell she cared, but she was just, I don't know. I'm so used to like speaking with doctors who are kind of like They give you the facts. They tell you what's going on. They don't start breaking down crying in front of you. And I don't know, like I've met some emotional doctors, but I don't know. She was just really bizarre. And like Dennis and I were just too fucking confused trying to process her and her, I don't know. She's very awkward as well. I don't know. It was just really weird. But anyways, yeah, it's awful to watch and hear her taunting him. Yeah, that video of her is going to forever haunt her forever. It definitely haunts us because to watch something like that, like, I don't know, definitely sends chills to my spine. Hey, Madison, how are you doing today? Oh, first time I get to tune in live. Well, thanks for popping in. You're so heartbroken when I found out about Steve. Yeah, I missed the little Steve so much. Oh, Steve. I missed that little Bubba. Can I skip this part? It's traumatizing. They have a jar of kisses at my vet's office for goodbye kisses for doggies that pass. Oh, poor puppies. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really sad right now. And like my friend's cat is, I think, in the hospital right now because cats get urinary blockage. But oh man, I highly recommend, if you can afford it, get pet insurance. Please get pet insurance. Like these vet bills are so astronomically just fucking crazy. I don't know. It's just so crazy. I don't know, man. Like the cost of it just piles up so quickly, and you're just like, I don't know. You just get so dizzy just looking at the bills and stuff like that. I don't know. Oh, everyone, give some kisses to their bubs today. Yeah, give extra love, attention, and extra care. So I appreciate you guys listening to me. We're gonna hop on to. So there's like a little snippet of the pretrial hearing for Sarah Boone that Court TV posted. Honestly, not really much is going on, but I haven't really watched it yet. So let's just watch it together. Wait, did I just lose the video? Oh no, it's playing an ad right now. Oh yeah, let me turn off the music. Sorry, I had some music just so I can like, I don't know. I feel like usually I like talking without music, but the music was helping me a little bit. Mentally helping me a little bit. All right, did I mute this? Oh, I did mute this. Okay, we got 10 more seconds to go. So, yep. Sarah Boone postponed. So we'll see. Let's see. Oh, do I have to refresh this? Oh, let me refresh the Sarah Boone stuff really quick.
Everybody.
All right, I'm going to skip on over to...
See if the jury believes that in the Suitcase murder trial. Guess what? The judge has just called the case in Florida. Let's go in together now.
Hi, Julie.
So typically I've been trying to set Ms. Boone for a...
So that's the judge that's talking right now, just so you can recognize the voice. That's the judge right now. And this is her lawyer, I believe, Frank Bankowitz. Frank Bankowitz is her sixth attorney. And I know when you hear sixth attorney, oh my God, this person is so unbearable that so many different attorneys left. There has been some of the attorneys left because there was like a conflict of interest. I think one of the attorneys was representing the apartment that she was living at, so conflicts of interest there. I think another attorney was like a public defender that at some point represented George Torres, who is the victim in this, who was the one that was in the suitcase, who probably died miserably being in a suitcase trapped for many hours as his girlfriend sat there laughing, video recording. Okay, sorry, we're getting a little passionate about this. But yeah, he is a sixth attorney. And, you know, there are some attorneys that I think just probably didn't want to deal with her. I think the first attorney, honestly, there was a first attorney that worked with her, where they was working with her for like 2 years and then out of nowhere just dropped her. We don't really know why, but I think they cited something generic like, you know, they probably just weren't getting along or something, you know, they just had, I don't know, not conflict of interest, but they were probably butting heads or something. So this is Frank Bankowitz. And again, Frank Bankowitz did try to... Poor Frank. 7 months ago, I think it was like end of December, Frank was trying to get off this case, but the judge denied that motion. So Frank is stuck with Sarah Boone. And Frank Bankowitz is a pretty busy guy. You know, apparently the trial did get pushed back because he had another murder case going on or something like that. But yeah, anyways, Frank, you stuck with Sarah. Good luck.
Separate date because she wants to be present for any discussions about the status of the case.
Okay, I I'm also a little bit confused as well. So from all the letters that we read about with Sarah Boone, the one that she wrote to her lawyers, the ones that she wrote to her attorney, so far, I think we read about 6 or 7 letters that she had written so far. Now, she says that no matter what, she wants to be present for all of the trials, the pre-trial stuff like that. And I'm a little bit confused why she's not here. I know the attorney is like dialing in, but can she not also dial in from prison as well? Or can she not still come in person? I'm just a little bit confused why she's not here in person, because she's probably livid right now that she's not here. She said even if it's for something small, she still wants to be present. So I'm a little bit confused. Where's she at? She ain't here. She made that clear. Yeah, she made that very clear. And I don't see her. I don't see her at all.
She's authored another letter to the court, substantially similar to the letters she's authored in the past. So I've just had that directed by Jay to disclose that to you and Mr. Cacciatore. Do we already have a specific status date separate from today set?
Judge, I believe it's said there's something set at 3 o'clock this afternoon on my calendar, but hopefully we can resolve that now.
Because it's possible that she could just have a shitty attorney and maybe there's some injustices going on. But at the same time, when we're reading these letters, it is all completely one-sided. We don't know what the attorney's perspective is or her previous attorney's perspectives. So it is all one-sided. So I take it with a grain of salt. Like, yeah, she could be getting shafted royally. But at the same time, I'm not really quite sure because we're only hearing from her side. But I'm a little surprised that she is not present here right now because she's made it very clear that she wants to be present. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she can't be present with unless the lawyers there present. But that doesn't really make sense, right? I feel like they could still just bring her in.
I guess we need to. I'm having issues with JAC with funding my expert, and the state's provided me with the name of their expert, but I'm sure they can't give an opinion until my expert gives an opinion. And at this point, she's not willing to do that until she can take payment from JAC.
I understand. So, Mike, here's my number one. I'd be surprised if we docked you for 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Okay, good.
I don't.
Why is it second degree? This is Florida, right? I don't know. Maybe in Florida, first degree, they have to show that there was intent. Maybe they weren't confident that they would be able to, have the jury agree that it was intentional. I'm not really quite sure. I'm assuming first degree is probably like to show that it's like intentional. Second degree could just be like, like she really did forget about him in the suitcase. She messed up or something. Maybe it wasn't intentional, but she still caused his death. That's what I think. Premeditation. Oh, yeah.
And Mr. Cacciatore, did you have notice that we're doing something at 3 this afternoon?
I did not, Your Honor.
Here's what I'm going to ask you to...
Wait, but intentional and premeditated wouldn't be used synonymously, right? Because like you could still do something intentional, but not have it be premeditated. So maybe it's just a premeditation thing, and maybe the intent part doesn't really matter. Yeah, the phone videos are pretty freaking bad. When the jury sees that, I don't know, man. It's going to be hard for her to explain her way out of that one. I do wonder if there was... I don't think I remember hearing anything about a plea bargain. I don't know. I don't think I heard anything about her being offered a plea bargain. But knowing her, she's probably like, nope, I could beat this. I mean, Alex Murdaugh, he was pretty damn confident when he went up there to testify.
To do on the Boone case, reach out to my judicial assistant today and schedule a status on her. I want these conversations to take place with Miss Boone present. Ideally, we'll get it done sometime in the next week.
Yeah, from what I heard, she's going to go with the battered spouse defense, where she's going to say, George is really abusive. He's been arrested multiple times, and I was defending myself. Now, if George was found with, I don't know, maybe stab wounds, maybe like gunshot wounds, possibly I could see maybe her arguing something like that, right? Like he was coming at her and she was in fear of her life. But the fact that he was found in a suitcase and he was begging to get out and she recorded it, and that's all I gotta say.
And then I'll address the issue
Yeah,
with
Amy.
JAC and where things stand at that
Very
point in time.
childish.
That's great, Judge. Just to advise the court, I'm starting a first-degree murder case with Judge Weiss on Monday. That's expected to go 4 days.
Okay. Well, I'm fairly certain I'm here on Friday the 21st. So you can decompress from trying your case by coming and talking to me about Ms. Boone's case.
I like this judge. This judge is trying to just get it along. He's trying to get everything moving along. So lawyer's like, I got a murder cases coming up. Yeah, it's gonna be like 4 days. Judge is like, well, perfect. The moment it's over, come over to me and let's talk about the Boone stuff. Because I think the judge just wants it moving along. And I'm sure the family members of the victim as well, because having it go on, it's been almost 3.5 years. That's a long time. That's a long time just to have this kind of just like clouding over you. I really do feel bad for the families.
Oh boy, thanks, Judge.
It's a service I offer, Mr. Bankowitz.
Service with a smile, Judge. Service with a smile.
All right, so that court minutes for Boone is just going to reflect that the lawyers are going to coordinate a status conference most likely on Friday the 21st.
Oh, so we've got.
So yeah, very short, very short. I'm surprised she didn't write a letter to everyone in that courtroom. Problem with Sarah's defense is Sarah has other domestic charges against her, against him. Yeah, so it seems like it was one of those like mutual domestic violence relationships where he was arrested a couple times. I think she was arrested. Don't remember, was it like once or twice? So that relationship was a mess. It's probably one of those relationships where they just really needed a break from each other and get some therapy and go seek romance elsewhere. I think they were dating for like 4 years, right? That's a long time. I initially thought maybe they were dating for like a very short amount of time, maybe like a year or something like that. And things just became really chaotic and crazy. But 4 years, like, I don't know. If you're in a relationship like that, you just got a GTFO. Just GTFO.
Got a postponement on our hands, my friends, just as I suspected.
Me too.
That's okay, though. We know when it's happening. We know when we're going to see her. We're going to see her on Friday morning, July
21st. So for Sarah Boone, give me a second. I got to do this all over again. Sarah Boone. Honestly, I thought that it was just going to get postponed, though, because I wasn't sure if the lawyer was meeting up with her or not. I don't know. That's a lot of stuff to go over. Got to get her side of the story. Got to get the experts and all that. Whew. That's a lot. Hide and Seek Murder Special Edition. Oh, no. That sounds like a horrible board game gone wrong. Okay, so yeah, we have status hearing scheduled for July 21st. That is this Friday. And you know what? We might see Sarah Boone. We might see her in court. It's probably just going to be a really short status hearing, though. But the trial was scheduled for, was it like next Monday for July 24th? So we'll see how far it gets pushed back to. But it seems like the judge kind of wants to just get the ball rolling. I did hear the lawyer mention something about, I think they wanted to hire an expert witness, but they're having issues with, is it like getting like money, funding for it, getting it approved or something like that? So I don't know. That's what I heard, but we will see. Last thing I heard was they were having a struggle to finding a person in general because no one wanted to be involved in this case. No one wanted to touch Sarah Boone and her defense team. Then when they interrogated, they found a video for taunting him and clearly left him to die as he begged for help. Hey, Sarah, how's it going? How are you doing today? Sarah said that's what happened. He hid in the suitcase. Yeah, there's just a lot of holes in her story. She said that, no, actually, hold on. Do you guys remember the 911 call? She said that she put him inside the suitcase. Let me go on YouTube really quick. She said it. I forget how ridiculous the 911 call was and the interrogation and her reaction when police showed up. 911 call.
911, what is the location of your emergency? 4748 France Court, apartment 3.
4748. What's the street name?
France, Frantd.
And the apartment number?
3.
Is this a police or medical?
My boyfriend is dead.
Okay, send the line for the fire department. Do not hang up.
I think it's in this 911 call. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she says I put him there, but I'm listening right now.
Fire rescue location, Mercy.
Desk 32.
No, please don't leave.
4748 France Lane, apartment 3.
France Court.
France Court.
Yes.
Okay, is this near Mackenzie Drive?
I don't know where that is.
Okay, fine, okay.
It's Hillwood Park Apartments.
Okay, 4748 France, correct?
Correct.
All right,
They go with the
correct. Now, tell me
there's no
exactly what happened
transcripts.
My boyfriend and I were playing last night, and
there.
I put him in a case and we were playing.
I put him in the suitcase. Oof. I wonder if she meant to say that, or I wonder if it slipped. So there was a couple of red flags that we were able to find out right away. Was from the 911 call, the interrogation, and the body cam footage, right? 911 call, I put him in the suitcase. When the police showed up at the scene, I remember the police officer was like, it was something about like, when did you find him? She said this morning. And then like, when did you do CPR? And she's like, oh, this afternoon. Fuck, what was it again? It was something about like how, oh no, it was like, when did you call? Because I think she called 911 like maybe like midday or like maybe like 12, 1 o'clock or maybe something around that. And the police officer was like, oh, when did you find your boyfriend? This morning. And then the police officer's like, oh, and you just called 911? So that's kind of weird too. I think apparently what she did was when she found out this morning that George was still in the suitcase, I think she called her ex-husband, had her ex-husband come over, which I don't know why. Maybe she was trying to see if the ex-husband was going to offer to like bury the body or something. And maybe he didn't. And he told her, call 911. Like, I don't know. I just remember there was like a lot of weird red flags about this. Had to sober up. This is the day after. Yeah, apparently they were playing hide and go seek the night before. I think she was up like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I don't remember the timelines, but the next morning was when she found him dead, but she didn't call 911 until like the afternoon or something like that. Yeah, I wish maybe I can get like I wonder if there's like an arrest affidavit or something where we can just get the timelines, because I'm just pulling everything from my memory. So I could be wrong about some things. But I just remember when police arrived, she was like, when did you find him this morning? She claims that she forgot and it was unintentional. I think she also told police officers that she only had like 1 glass of wine, or was it 2 glasses of wine? Do you guys remember the interrogation? Oof, before the trial stuff, I think I had to just do a huge major recap. I just have to watch all the videos and everything. But I think she said she only drank like 1 or 2 glasses, which is like, and I think they only finished like 1 bottle. You think Taylor and Sarah would be good friends, put them in the same room? So the ex-husband recommended or requested to call 911 and did not enter the door. Yeah, I think like the ex-husband came over. She probably told him what happened. And he's like, you should probably call 911. But I think, should we just watch the body cam footage really quick? Sorry, I wasn't gonna spend a lot of time on Sarah Boone. Let's give it like another like 5 minutes. Okay, so I think, please have transcripts. No! How come some videos have transcripts and some videos don't have transcripts? Is this the part right here?
I don't know if he's suffocated or like had an aneurysm or a heart attack or what.
What kind of medical conditions is he?
12:30ish, whatever. So I came down.
Oh, I think I got it right here. Hold on. I think I literally just found the spot.
I fell asleep
When did you do CPR?
this morning when I found him.
Before you called?
Yes.
It's 1 o'clock right now.
It's 1 o'clock right now. So she says that she found him this morning, tried to do CPR in the morning, and police officer's like, well, it's 1 o'clock right now.
I tried.
Oh, and this is Sarah. What's this? Sarah's like, oh shit, I'm fucking up. So she's trying to explain her story away. Oh God, this is the look of someone this is the moment when they realize they fucked up. I forgot what her explanation was for this though. Hold on.
I fell asleep
When did you do CPR?
this morning when I found it.
Before you called?
Yes.
It's 1 o'clock right now.
I tried. I was awake, but I actually got out of the bed at like 12:30ish, whatever. So I came downstairs, and I was like,
Oh man.
oh, he's in the suitcase still. And that's when I found him, and I took him out, and I tried doing CPR, and then I called him, and then I called you guys.
Did he get his?
Okay, because I know people act very. There are people that act very strange when they go through a very traumatic event. There's like the shock that's settling in, but for her, I think a lot of people just got the lack of like. It just doesn't seem very genuine, you know. It just seems very like BS-y. I do want to forward over to when the ex-husband. I think the ex-husband was like, yeah, I told her to. Okay, really quick. We're almost done.
Okay, so you don't live here in this house.
No.
So this is the ex-husband right here. They actually have shared custody of. I think at the time of the body cam footage, I think their son was like maybe 7 or 8 years old. I think.
I live down in Lake Renata Cove down
Lake
there.
Renata Cove. Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of tell me how you came here today, or
Well, I had been calling.
come down here because we got to talk.
I've been calling since.
You've been calling your ex-wife or current
Yes,
wife?
yes.
Okay.
No. Ex-wife. We've
Okay.
been divorced about a year and a half.
Bravo.
About 11:30 is when I started calling to find out because this is supposed to be her day. So,
Oh, sorry. I'm just gonna. I think the audio is like crappy, but so she was supposed to go to him to pick up their kid, and he was like, "Where is she?" So he calls her.
child.
Okay.
She's generally not very good about always doing it. She tends to drink.
They called back and said
Yeah,
she was
bit of
still
a
there,
problem
or she came back.
So I was calling to find out
Hey,
if
Bun
she's
Bun.
going to be getting him or not today.
From school.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I started calling like 11:30, called every half hour or so, and then
She was back inside the lobby.
finally got a hold of her
I'll come
at
back to you.
12:49,
Okay.
which is when she told me what was going on and if I'd come over here. So I came
She
over.
called at 12:45.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or 12:49.
12:49.
Got over here, told her she needed to call 911, get somebody over
See what he said right there? He told her she needed to call 911.
here, and then basically she said.
Yeah, I don't know. Good luck, Sarah Boone. I mean, actually, no fucking good luck. When I say good luck, I say sarcastically because it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to explain this away to the jury. There's just so I don't know. If he goes up there and testifies and he says, "Yeah, I told her to call 911," like I was the one who said it. Like, I don't. Yeah, good. Thank God they had divorced. Oh my God, I feel so bad for him because he probably had to put up with her how many years. Hopefully, you know how sometimes people are shitty towards everyone else, but they're really good to their kids. Hopefully, she was really good to her son, even though, she may have been really shitty towards everyone else. Entitled. Maybe narcissistic. Yikes. Kind of like a Cersei complex, right? Cersei was apparently, really good to her kids. Ish, in a little manipulative, maybe toxic way. She loved her kids, but she was like shitty to everyone else. She was smoking when he told her to call 911. I heard a number of times her ex pays her rent and bills. Sarah and boyfriend didn't pay for anything except for play money. Yeah, I was able to get a copy of their lease agreement to show like how much money they made and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think she probably definitely got like, oh fuck, I don't know. I have to look at the finances. I don't want to say anything else. I need a refresh in my memory. Okay, so Sarah Boone stuff. This Friday, we might potentially see her in for a pretrial hearing. I say it would be really funny, but I think it'd be really fucked up. But if the lawyer does not bring her in person, oh my God, we're gonna see another Sarah Boone letter. But I'm sure she'll be present for this one because the judge did bring it up. All right. Who else do we have next? Let's go over to Brian Kohberger. So Brian Kohberger is the main suspect in the Idaho student murders. So we had 4 students that were murdered. This was back in November. All were found stabbed to death, unfortunately, and there were 2 surviving roommates. They were able to find and arrest Brian Kohberger roughly, I don't know, was it like 6 weeks later? I think it was like the end of December. It was almost like the new year. But they were able to find and arrest Brian Kohberger. He was all the way in Pennsylvania. Apparently, he had taken a road trip with his dad from West Coast all over to East Coast. And they brought him back over to... What is this? Oh, I just got a notification. They brought him back over to Idaho. So he's currently going to be standing trial right now. They had his trial set for, I believe it was October 2nd. October 2nd, yeah. So he was supposed to have I believe a preliminary hearing at the end of June, but that was canceled because they were able to get a grand jury indictment. I think that's a phrase to use. And basically, Brian Kohberger and his defense team are requesting grand jury materials, and they're planning on contesting the indictment. So because of all that, I think they talked to the courts, and the courts gave him what is it called? An order staying time for a speedy trial. So they essentially gave an extension of, I believe, like 37 days. Yeah, 37 days. So that's just a quick little rundown, but I do want to read the court document because I think it is pretty interesting. In this court document, there is the word awesome in it, and I've never seen the word awesome in a court document. I don't know if it's a typo, but I thought it was kind of interesting. It made me giggle a little bit, but I was like, is it appropriate to have the word awesome in here? Or were they just trying to be a little, I don't know, maybe they're trying to be facetious and have a little bit of humor. I don't know. Oh, the Schabusiness stuff. Yeah, we'll get to that like very quickly in a second. I think her trial is going to happen next week, but we'll see. I don't know. A lot of these trials are getting pushed back. So starting with Kohberger. This was yesterday, actually. Yeah, yesterday. Comes now the state of Idaho by and through the Latah County prosecuting attorney and respectfully requests that this court reconsider its order staying time for speedy trial. The law does not allow the defendant to partially waive his statutory right to a speedy trial, and thus his acquiescence to the limited stay in this matter could be deemed a full waiver of speedy trial, with the potential to create needless litigation in the future. Additionally, the court stay has no practical effort where A, the parties are continuing to litigate discovery matters and file motions, B, trial remains set, and C, defendant is free to request a stay in the future. Due to these practical considerations, the state respectfully requests that the court rescind its order staying time for a speedy trial. The state further requests that the jury trial in this matter remains set for October 2nd, 2023. So October is like, I don't know, less than 3 months from now. And again, the murders happen in roughly like almost mid-November, I think. The state makes these requests to give the parties, the victims' families, and the witnesses predictability as to future trial dates to protect the record and to avoid needless speedy trial litigation down the road. So here's the background on this. Defendant was indicted on 4 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of burglary because he entered the residence on May 16, 2023. On May 19th, defendant filed motions requesting grand jury materials, including the record and the transcript. In the days that followed, the state and the defense conferred but were unable to reach an agreement as to the scope of the grand jury materials subject to release under the Idaho criminal rules. You think Court TV is streaming but not positive? Oh, for Taylor Schabusiness? On June 13, the defendant filed a motion to stay proceedings, arguing that he intends to contest the indictment and asking the court to stay this case so that he could discover the grounds upon which to do so. The sole legal basis offered by defendant at his request to stay was Idaho Code 2-213, which allows a party to request a stay in proceedings where there has been a substantial failure to comply with the applicable law in selecting the grand jury or trial jury. On July 10th, 2023, so a couple days ago, the court issued an order for a limited stay of the proceedings. The court rejected the defendant's rationale that the Idaho Code 2-213 applies at the stage. Nevertheless, the court elected to issue a limited stay to a whole speedy trial for a period of 37 days. relying upon the good cause language found in Idaho Code 19-3501. As the court noted in its order for a limited stay of proceedings, Kohberger and his counsel agreed to the terms of the stay on July 16. So the thing that I like about these court documents is sometimes when we're reading this, I'm just like, oh my God, what are they saying? This is like going above my head. But usually later on, they kind of like explain everything pretty thoroughly so you can kind of like digest it a little bit. Sometimes you got to look up these legal terms though, because you're just like, what the heck are they talking about? The sole basis offered by defendant in this request to stay was Idaho Code. I already read that. Sorry. I lost my spot right here. Okay. As the court noted in his order for a limited stay proceedings, Kohberger and his counsel agreed to the terms of the stay on July 6, 2023. Acknowledging that he could not later argue that his right to a speedy trial was violated, so long as he is brought to trial within 6 months speedy trial period, plus the additional time period of the stay, 37 days. Trial remains set to begin on October 2nd, 2023. Here's the argument. Idaho Code 19-3501, which allows a court to dismiss the case for lack of a speedy trial, is triggered if the defendant, whose trial has not been postponed upon his application, is not brought to trial within 6 months. From the filing of indictment of information. Oh, also, I don't think Murdoch waived his right to a speedy trial, right? That's why Murdoch's trial happened so quickly. Man, because that one happened pretty quickly. Yeah, I don't think he waived his right to a speedy trial. Oh, thanks, Gelosity. I actually finally got my glasses fixed, and the guy, in a very nice way, made fun of how I wore my glasses because I didn't know how to do the nose bridge. The nose bridge was pinched so close and my glasses like sat up here, and he thought it looked funny. And I was like, please fix it for me. I've never really worn glasses before, so I have no idea what they're supposed to be like. Okay, so Idaho Code, let me read this part again, which allows the court to dismiss a case for the lack of speedy trial. It's triggered if a defendant whose trial has not been postponed upon his application is not brought to trial within 6 months. Idaho Code 19-3501, 2, emphasis added. Notably, 19-3501 does not require an unequivocal, on the record, waiver of a speedy trial. Again, they're accusing Kohberger of like not really completely waiving his right to a speedy trial. He's like sort of waiving it. And they're like, no, that shouldn't go down. Instead, the statute by its own language excludes from relief those individuals whose trials have been postponed upon their own application. So it excludes these people. And they're going to explain another case where this happened. State versus Lundquist is instructive. There, the Idaho Supreme Court held an individual who requested a single trial continuance beyond the speedy trial period in order to substitute counsel, but objected to further continuance, had fully waived his right to a speedy trial. So I thought this was kind of interesting. Lundquist's arraignment took place on January 4th, 1996, and his jury trial was set for July 9, 1996. So within the 6 months, ish, kind of, sort of. On April 18th, 1996, Lundquist filed a motion to separate his trial from that of his two co-defendants. That motion was granted on May 31st, 1996. Now, because Lundquist had not waived his right to a speedy trial while the co-defendants had, on June 14th, 1996, Lundquist moved to substitute a new attorney for his one of two defense attorneys representing him. The court determined that Lundquist would be allowed to substitute counsel if he agreed to a continuance of his trial and waived his speedy trial rights. Lundquist and his counsel had concerns that Lundquist would be tried with his co-defendants in the future if he were to waive a speedy trial. So he put in a motion to not have his trial, basically not be tried with the co-defendants. And they're like, okay, you won't be tried with them. But now he's like, well, I want to substitute one of my lawyers for someone else. And the court's like, well, that's going to kind of like push back your trial a little bit. So you might have to waive your rights to a speedy trial. And he's like, well, I don't know. I'm assuming it's a he. They didn't want to because they didn't want to be tried with the co-defendants in the future. Now let's see what happens. However, the court noted that the co-defendants were not prepared to proceed to trial and had to request a trial continuance to January 1997, whereas the court could set Lundquist's trial earlier in August or September of 1996. Now, however, sometimes things don't really go as planned. So he's like, okay, or they're like, okay, so my trial's going to happen in August or September. I should be fine. As long as it doesn't happen in January, where they're also trying my co-defendants. Like, hopefully we don't get lumped together. Now, Lundquist then agreed to the continuance and waived his right to a speedy trial. His trial date was continued to September. However, in August, the state moved to continue the trial in order to prepare a response to a report from a defense psychologist. See, you never know what's going to happen. There's going to be things that pop up, and it's going to be, it's going to end up postponing your trial even more. Now, Lundquist objected to the continuance, arguing that the state had time to prepare. However, Lundquist offered not to call the psychologist if it meant there would be a continuance. Nevertheless, the court granted the state's request to a continuance and set trial for January 8, 1997. So at this point, Lundquist is like, oh, shit. Oh, man. Now, on August 8, 1996, the state, I wonder if the state just did this on purpose. The state made a motion to consolidate Lundquist's trial with that of his co-defendants, and that motion was granted. That is what they did not want. Oh, man. Ultimately, Lundquist's trial did not start until January 29, 1997, a year and 25 days after he was arraigned. On appeal, so I'm assuming maybe he was found guilty with his co-defendants and they tried to appeal at this point, or he tried to appeal. On appeal, Lundquist did not contest the continuance from the July trial date to the September trial date, or is it appealing this decision? Hold on. Instead, he argued that the subsequently granted continuance from the September trial date to the January trial date was a violation of his right to a speedy trial, but he waived that right. Because his waiver was limited to the initial continuance. Let's see what they said. The Idaho Supreme Court unambiguously rejected the notion that a defendant can partially, so kind of like what Kohberger's doing right now, can partially but not fully waive his right to a speedy trial, explaining that Section 193501 does not allow for such a limited waiver. Once the trial has been postponed, the 6-month statutory period no longer applies. Damn, that kind of does feel a little shitty. In this case, the court issued its order for stay after defendant requested a stay under Idaho Code 2-213, which, as the court noted in its order staying time for a speedy trial, is a premature request. Order staying time for a speedy trial, page 1. Instead of issuing a stay under Idaho Code 2-213, the court crafted a limited stay that serves not to halt the proceedings in the traditional sense of a stay, but rather to simply extend the speedy trial period for 37 days. However, the trial was left set for October 2nd, 2023. Although defendant may have stated on the record that he did not intend to waive speedy trial, the practical effort of his motion to stay and the court's subsequent order is that the court had issued an order upon the defendant's application that trial may be set outside of the 6-month speedy trial period. It further complicates matters that defendant had even stipulated to good cause under the very statute that the Idaho Supreme Court cannot allow for limited speedy waivers. See order saying time for speedy trial. This court finds, and Kohberger has agreed, that there is a good cause for the stay the running of a speedy trial clock for the said period of time. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe when the judge gets this on his desk, or probably already got it, I don't know, they might not be happy. As a purely practical matter, the parties, witnesses, and victims' family members are now in limbo. Will trial be set out 30 days at the defendant's option or not? If the defendant reviews the grand jury materials and fails, where the hell did it go? If the defendant reviews the grand jury materials and elects to challenge them, will the court issue another few weeks? Hey, happy day. Thank you. Sorry about your Stevie. Thank you. I appreciate the message. Oh, Stevie, I miss you so much. Could more few weeks postponed be forthcoming as other pretrial matters get litigated, such as 12B motions, 404B motions, motions in limine, or death penalty challenges? The state is respectful to the defense's responsibility and need to prepare for trial, specifically the need to review all the materials at issue. But it is the state who carries the burden of proof in this case, an awesome endeavor. So this is where I'm wondering if they're just trying to be facetious, or maybe they meant to say like arduous endeavor and autocorrect just like messed it up. I don't know. What do you guys think about the awesome being in this sentence here? But it is the state who carries the burden of proof in this case, an awesome endeavor. requiring the subpoenaing, preparation, and coordination of numerous witnesses. Maybe by awesome, they meant like, maybe there's another like definition of awesome where it just means like, oh, this takes a lot of work and so much effort. Many of whom require travel arrangements and other logistical considerations. These witnesses include loved ones, friends of the victims who are undoubtedly anxious for some degree of predictability as this case proceeds. The state is concerned that should the court continue to order such short-term stays, that these witnesses, not to mention the parties, will be left in limbo during a series of tolling periods where short-term continuances could be invoked as a defendant's option. Oh, I feel bad for the family members and the friends too. Conversely, if the court were to consider its order and determine that it was appropriate to rescind that order, nothing would change. Defendant would still be entitled to review the materials that are being prepared and provided. The state would still continue to provide discovery. The parties would still continue to litigate discovery matters and file motions and responses to those motions. Defendant could still elect to seek a stay under Idaho Code 2-213 at such a time as such motion would become ripe. And defendant could still determine whether to waive his right to a speedy trial or proceed in October on the currently set trial date within the speedy trial period. Conclusion. As the court noted in its recent order, this is a complicated and unusual case posing unique challenges to the parties. The state is appreciative of the balancing that the court must do in this case. Oh, I'm glad they wrote a little thing, for the judge. Good to make the judge feel like, okay, we respect you and we appreciate you doing the most as you can. And the court's sensitivity to the needs of the party. But while the defendant undeniably has a right to review the grand jury materials, the law simply does not allow for a defendant to agree to toll speedy trial beyond 6 months and then later invoke his right to a speedy trial. As such, in the interest of protecting the records in this case and in the interest of promoting efficiency and predictability in the weeks and the months ahead, the state respectfully requests that this court reconsider its order setting time for a speedy trial. Signed July 17, 2023, yesterday. You just like Ann Taylor? I don't have any opinions about Ann Taylor yet. I just feel bad because, she kind of just got stuck with this case. And I believe she has to travel 1 hour just to see Kohberger. Because there was only 4 public defenders in that county. And I think none of them were able to do it. There's like a conflict of interest. And so they had to reach out to a different county. Oof. So it's a tough job, it's a tough job. But, what was I going to say? There's something else I was going to say. I don't remember. You're going taco? Want anything? Is it the taco place that Jake was talking about? I don't know if there's a really good recommendations, lengua or anything like that. Sure. Why not? Dita the Lord ever again. What were they practicing? Did you just keep losing all the arguments? Is that why? So yeah, we'll wait for all this. But right now the trial is set for October 2nd. Again, less than 3 months away. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. I just feel like a lot of these trials are just going to keep getting push. Now, I think we talked about Schabusiness really quick. Schabusiness is was it Wisconsin? Do you guys remember? Was it Wisconsin? Give me a second. Let me pull up Schabusiness really quick. So the Schabusiness one, I don't know. The Schabusiness one is just really disturbing. I read a little bit about I read a little bit about the case. I have the arrest. What do I have here? What's the arrest affidavit or something? We haven't read it yet. I don't know if you guys want to read it today. It's about 6 pages. It's really graphic and it's really disturbing. Let me X this out really quick. So Taylor, oh God, I lost it. Hold on, give me a second. Oh, here she is. Man, and the crazy thing is, she's so young. She's born in 1997. 1997. And we talked about this earlier, I think a couple weeks ago. She has the same birthday as me. Oh, Lord. Oh, man. Okay, so let's talk about Taylor Schabusiness. Born in 1997. Taylor Schabusiness, so far, she's got Evidentiary hearing happening this Friday. Jury selection maybe this Friday. And then her trial was supposed to start around the same time that Sarah Boone's original trial was supposed to start. July 24th. Is that a Tuesday? Oh, that is a Monday. No, it's a Monday. July 24th. Oh, she's tiny, 5'1". I don't know, man. I saw that video of her attacking her attorney. She looked big, but maybe it's just because she just looked very threatening. I don't know. She didn't look like she was 5'1". Is she really 5'1"? So they had her evaluated recently, right? 710 competency hearing on March 24th. Confidential jury questionnaire. Evidentiary hearing. What does this say? Defendant Taylor Denise Schabusiness in court in custody. Attorney Christopher T. Froelich in court for Taylor Schabusiness. Oh, they better be careful. Attorney Caleb Saunders in court for state of Wisconsin. Present bond continued. Examining psychologist report. Maybe they say that she's competent enough to stand trial. I don't know. That's what I'm assuming. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Taylor Schabusiness also this Friday, same time as Sarah Boone stuff, and then possibly trial next week. But I guess we can read I guess we'll just read the business stuff. I just want to warn you guys, though, this stuff is it's pretty graphic. It's pretty. It's like, ugh, I don't know. So if you don't want to be here and listen to the graphic stuff, I would say come back in like 15. I don't know. I'm going to read through this pretty quickly. Maybe come back like after 10 minutes. She's married. I guess her boy toy. The head. Yeah, it's like, ugh. It's pretty graphic. If you're eating, maybe, I don't know, you might not want to be here. Give me a second to capture this really quick. Window capture. The biz. But we're not going to show anything. It's just a Word document and stuff. So don't worry. You're not going to see anything. Taylor Schabusiness, state of Wisconsin. This was filed last year. Yeah, March 1st, 2022. Oof. Okay, so first degree, intentional homicide, repeater. Count 2, mutilating a corpse. Count 3, third degree SA. Now, I know that they were debating this. I read recently, I think her lawyer was arguing that technically it's not SA because the victim was already deceased. So and I think it was the victim was already deceased and the victim had their penis cut off. So you can't really SA someone if that happens to them. I don't remember what happened to that. I think they denied that. Don't remember. Probable cause. The complainant being duly sworn on oath. The complainant also bases this complying upon the statements of Taylor Schabusiness, which were against her penal interests. The complainant further asserts that based upon his review of the reference reports and or supporting documents, the incidents alleged occurred in Brown County, Wisconsin. Is there a interrogation video of Schabusiness? I don't think I remember seeing one. I don't know. The last name is pretty interesting as well. Number 1. Your complainant's reviewed the report of Officer Alex Waynish of Green Bay Police Department, which indicates that on February 23rd, 2022, at about 3:25 a.m., Officer Waynish was dispatched to a residence that is located in the city of Green Bay, Brown County, Wisconsin, for a report of a severed head found in the bucket in the basement. I think the victim's mother found him in the bucket, right? I think that's why it was called in. Oh my God. Upon arrival, Officer Waynish met with TP, who allowed officers into the residence. Officer Waynish reports he went down to the basement. Once he reached the bottom of the basement, Officer Waynish observed the plastic bucket on the floor. Officer Waynish observed a shower/beach towel over the bucket. Officer Waynish lifted the towel and observed a human head inside the bucket. Waynish looked around the room and observed what appeared to be dry blood on a nearby mattress. Number 2. Is this a different officer now? Your complainant's review of the report of Officer Garth Russell on the Green Bay Police Department, which indicates that on February 23rd, 2022, Officer Russell was asked to assist by going to a residence on Eastman Avenue in the city of Green Bay. Officer Russell gathered information that a person identified as Taylor D. Schabusiness, date of birth 11/23, who was last seen with the victim, may be living in the Eastman Avenue address. Oh, was she not at the scene? Officer Russell also learned there was a van associated with Schabusiness. Officer Russell reviewed a prior photograph of Schabusiness. As officers inspected the van, Officer Russell saw Schabusiness emerge from the apartment building, and upon seeing officers, she stopped. Officer Russell could see that Schabusiness had what appeared to be dry blood on the front of her black hooded sweatshirt, as well as her black sweatpants. Officer Russell later found Schabusiness' hands appeared to be smeared with blood as well, and there was also what looked like dry blood on the back of her sweatshirt. Officer Russell asked Schabusiness if she knew why the officers were there. She stated something that sounded like, because of my warrant for my arrest. Number 3, your complainants reviewed the report of Detective Gina Luberta of Green Bay Police Department. Detective Luberta received an additional information that TP told police officers that Schabusiness' van, which had been parked outside her address for a day or so, was gone. Patrol and other detectives were at the address on Eastman Avenue where a van Schabusiness had been using was parked and where Schabusiness had been taken to custody, and the van was later examined. Detective Luberta reports that in the rear passenger seat behind the driver's seat, there was a crock-pot box. Medical examiner Dr. Vincent Trachenda went to the box, which was on top of the laundry basket of clothes, and located additional human body parts, including legs. Number 4. I don't know, man. This is going to be a really rough trial to... I don't know. Not really looking forward to this trial. Okay, so they had a search warrant. Detective Scanlon... Sorry, I'm butchering these names. Detective Scanlon reports that during the search, a human head severed from the neck was located in a bucket in the basement near the stairs. The head was identified visually in comparison with prior photograph of the victim, and it was confirmed to be the victim. According to Dr. Tranchinda, there was a visual evidence of strangulation observed. Also located in the same bucket was a male organ, along with body fluids and 2 knives. Other body parts were found in the basement in other bags, including plastic shopping bags along with 3 knives, including a butter knife consistent with kitchen knives. Located in the storage tote. Was it the mom? I feel like I thought I heard that it was the mom that discovered her son. I wonder if there was any animosity between Taylor Schabusiness and the mom. Yeah, the mom found it. Ugh, yeah, I don't... The trauma, the trauma from that. The upper torso had rigid cuts at the side where the head was removed consistent with the separated head. Also located in the tote was a carving knife consistent with the kitchen knife and several internal organs. Upon located in the search was what appeared to be significant blood staining on the unsheeted top bed mattress, along with what appeared to be a set of previously cleaned up blood on a concrete surface next to and underneath a significant portion of the bed. Evidence of drug use was observed in the open on the top of the entertainment center, including a glass pipe and a gem bag containing light-colored powder material. What's a gem bag? Is it just like a Ziploc bag? Also observed was evidence of the blood around a stand-up shower located in an unfinished portion of the basement, and what appeared to be numerous blood drops were visible on the concrete floor in front of the shower that appeared to have been partially wiped or washed away. Detective Scanlon reports that during the search, he stayed in contact with Detective Graff and Detective Kemp, who was at the time questioning Taylor Schabusiness. Detective Scanlon reports that he based Schabusiness' statements and officers' observation at the scene. Detective Scanlon found the information Schabusiness was saying to be consistent with officers' finding during the search of the basement. Let me just skip through this really quick. Okay. February 23rd, 2022. TP stated that around 9:30 p.m. on Monday, February 21st, 2022, Taylor Schabusiness came and picked up the victim. TP stated that was the last time she saw the victim alive. TP stated that her boyfriend told her that sometime Monday night into Tuesday, February 22nd, the victim and Schabusiness returned to the home and went into the basement. TP believed that Schabusiness and the victim were in the basement during the day on Tuesday. TP stated that she did not go to the basement because she didn't recall hearing Schabusiness talking, but she did recall hearing Schabusiness talking at one point. TP stated that she and her boyfriend were out of the house during the day on Tuesday. TP stated that there was a minivan parked on the road in front of the house during the time, and she was not sure if it was Schabusiness. TP stated that sometime between 2:30 and 3 a.m. that morning, she was awoken by a storm door being slammed. TP stated that she heard a vehicle. She assumed it was Schabusiness. TP stated that she got out of bed, saw the light in the basement was still on. TP stated she went to go see if the victim was still there because she thought Schabusiness had left. TP went to the basement and did not see anyone. So she started to walk back up the stairs, and that was when she noticed a bucket next to the bottom of the stairs. Oh, no. She removed the bucket and discovered what was inside of it. Detective Graff reported he was then informed that Taylor Schabusiness was located by patrol officers and brought to the station. Officer Russell informed Detective Graff that Schabusiness had a large amount of what believed to be blood on her clothing. Detective Graff observed Schabusiness had a cut on her left thumb. Detective Graff also observed some scratches on her arms and hand that, according to Schabusiness, were self-inflicted. Detective Graff also noticed on Schabusiness' hand a red substance stain that Detective Graff believed to be blood. Is this like her interview and stuff? This happened while her husband was in prison. The guy was a boyfriend that she was seeing at the time. Wait, who are you guys talking about? They both were spoken math. That's what I heard. I don't know if they were married to each other, though. If there's anything else that's gore that pops up, I think I'm just going to skip over it. If you guys want this document, let me know. I'll just post it for you guys in the Discord or something. But I think we went through the gore stuff. Detective Graff spoke to Schabusiness after advising of her rights. Detective Graff told Schabusiness that a few hours ago, officers were sent to a residence in Green Bay in which the head of the victim was found. Schabusiness' response was, "That is pretty fucked up." Detective Graff asked Schabusiness if she knew the victim, and she said she did. Detective Graff confirmed that Schabusiness that she lived with the victim. Confirmed that she lives on Eastman Avenue, and the van that was located was her roommate's, ST's van. Detective Graff confirmed with Schabusiness that she drove ST's van to Eastman earlier in the morning. Detective Graff asked where the rest of the victim's remains were. Schabusiness stated that it was still in the basement. Graff asked her to tell him what happened. Schabusiness' first comments was, "That is a good question," because she had blacked out during that time. Graff asked Schabusiness if it was just her and the victim in the basement. She said that it was, and no one else had come down. Schabusiness stated that she and the victim were smoking the bitch, which Detective Graff was able to clarify with Schabusiness that she was referring to methamphetamine. Schabusiness stated the victim had a chain that he had put around his neck. Had a chain he put around his neck. Something about sexual intercourse. They were into strangulation, and they did it in the past. Graff asked Schabusiness questions about her using the minivan, asked if she and the victim had contact with anybody when they first got back to the house. Schabusiness then made a statement, "Damn the head. I can't believe I left the head, though." Jesus. Graff then asked Schabusiness where the rest of the body was. She said it was in the basement. Schabusiness responded the police were going to have fun trying to find all the organs. What's her history? What's her like background history? She must have like, hold on. Shit. Let me refresh this really quick. She's got like she said she had like a warrant out for arrest, right? Was it just like drug use and arrest and stuff like that? History is just math. She tried to life herself. What about history of violence towards other people? You guys know anything about that? I could probably look it up really quick. Oh my God. Okay. Jesus. How long has she been, did she say she was smoking meth for? Graff asked how the dismemberment happened, something about knives, bread knife, serrated knife. So I think at least at this point, the victim was already deceased. But I don't know if they were able to confirm that. Hopefully by this time, the victim was already deceased. Schabusiness described she and the victim were in the basement. The victim produced 2 chains, one for him, one for her. Schabusiness described the chains as being the time as being chain link and silver. Schabusiness would later describe the chains as being like a dog choke collar. Schabusiness stated that she went crazy, referring to strangling the victim. At one point during the interview, Schabusiness said she could still feel the victim's heart beating still as she was still choking him, but she kept going harder and harder. Detective Graff asked at what point did she know the victim was not alive anymore. Schabusiness stated that the victim's face turned purple and there was blood coming out of the mouths, but she did not stop. Jesus. Well, this is pretty graphic. Y'all can read that later on. Schabusiness stated that she had a friend pick up the victim in the minivan. After picking up the drugs, the three went to Eastman Avenue apartment. Wait, so she picked up friends and were they there? Schabusiness stated that her and her friend and the victim smoked. Oh, no, sorry. This is before. Smoked marijuana. She and the victim smoked some methamphetamine. Schabusiness' friend left. Schabusiness reported that she had then shot herself up and the victim with trazodone. Well, what is trazodone again? Is that the, is it like a muscle relaxant or something like that? Trazodone. Trazodone meth. Oh, it's an upper and a downer. Trazodone is the downer, right? Sleeping aid? Yeah, because I think trazodone was something that they gave to my sister's dog for like anxiety or something. Is it opiate? Schabusiness stated that she and the victim left her apartment, drove to the victim's mom's house. They went to the basement. Schabusiness stated the victim's mom's boyfriend let her and the victim to the house. Schabusiness stated it was about 5 minutes after they arrived. The victim pulled out the chains. This kind of just goes into it again. Well, yep, this case is really disturbing. I could link this file, or actually you could just also Google for this file as well. Yeah, I don't know. Ooh. Is Court TV covering it? Schabusiness maybe was like the little girl in the first movie of The Exorcist. I actually have not seen the original Exorcist, and I know I'm like a horror movie person, but there's a lot of classics that I haven't seen yet. So yeah, I mean, this trial is happening potentially next week, so we'll keep an eye on it. But I mean, we kind of already know where it's going, right? I do wonder if is Wisconsin like a death penalty state? Are they trying to go for DP? Insane. I don't know. I honestly would have thought that they would just be like, she's incompetent and this woman needs like severe mental health or something. But maybe now that she's like detoxed for over a year now, maybe she is competent, and I don't know. I mean, she did attack a lawyer though. Let's see. Does Wisconsin... Wait, hold on a second. Who else was in Wisconsin recently? Wisconsin. Wasn't there another trial in Wisconsin? Where was Dorman? So the Rudy thing, I might just watch a video with you guys about that because I have not seen anything about it. You guys told me a little bit about Rudy, how I think he was like missing for a couple of years, but they ended up finding him. He was like with his mother. Mother's like really abusive or something. No DP in Wisconsin. No DP. I don't know. This is like one of those cases where it's like, if she said that she was like severely mentally ill, I could totally believe that. But yeah, we'll see. Brooks. Oh man, where was Brooks again? Was it Wisconsin? You missed Lawyer Brooks? Oh Lord. I mean, isn't he supposed to be standing trial for the assault on his ex-girlfriend? Georgia family. Who's the Georgia family? What's the name of Aerodynamic? Yeah, I think Waukesha. Where's Waukesha again? Wisconsin. Oh, yeah, Darryl Brooks is Wisconsin. Oh, Wisconsin. All right. Do we want to watch a video about JonBenet Ramsey? Do we want to talk about the possible New York serial killer? We got the documents here. Or I don't know if I was gonna watch the Rudy one today. Maybe a different one. You hope Erica's doing well. Erica, oh yeah, Erica's the ex-girlfriend, right? Oh, I hope she's getting therapy. That's a lot to go through with that man. JonBenet. Okay, so I have this video with JonBenet, but I don't know if it's a confession to her murder or if it's just a confession to being obsessed with JonBenet. So I'm trying to think. From what I remember from JonBenet Ramsey, she was a child like pageant beauty queen contestant. Parents would put her through like the pageant beauty queen stuff, which I think is really bizarre. But anyways, and one day I think mom went down to the kitchen. There was a letter, really weird letter that was written or something. Was it the same day of the murders? And I think they found their child's body in the basement. They weren't, I think initially the parents were accused, but then the parents called like a bunch of friends and families over, kind of trampled over the crime scene. To this day, they have no idea who murdered the poor little kid. This was like back in, was it 1996? Was it 1996? A long time ago. Still an unsolved murder. Yeah, I think a lot of people thought that was parents. And it was something about, I remember at some point, they found that JonBenet had consumed maybe like, was it like bananas or something a couple hours before? I don't know. I think Court TV will probably do a better recap than I am right now, but I just remember like tidbits here and there. Oh, did she have a brother? Was it pineapple? Yeah, it might have been pineapple. I don't know. I always just feel like in cases like this, it's always someone that's like really close to her, like a family member or something, but who knows? You guys ever heard about the Madeleine McCann case? That was a real wild one too. Oh, everyone thought the brother did it. How old is the brother? Madison says, I always thought the brother did it and the parents covered it up. Oh god, that's true. That's just gross. Yeah, the child beauty thing should be legal. It's pedo bait and creepy. I don't know. It's just so like, ugh. It's so creepy. I don't know. Wait, the brother was 9? Why did they think the brother did it then?
December 26, 1996. A brisk, clear morning in Boulder, Colorado. John Ramsey was up before dawn.
I was shaving, I guess, in the bathroom.
And we have a back staircase from the bedroom areas. And I always come down that staircase, and I'm usually the first one down. And the note was lying across the run of one of the stair treads. And it was kind of dimly lit because it was very early in the morning. And
both of her parents are still alive, right, to this day?
I started to read it, and it was addressed to John.
A terrifying message scrawled across 3 pages.
Oh, the mom died.
We have your daughter.
I just heard Patsy scream. I could tell by her scream that something horrible was going on. I didn't know what.
I immediately ran back upstairs.
Patsy's been dead for at least a decade now.
And pushed open her door, and she was not in her bed.
JonBenet Ramsey was found dead, strangled, in the basement of that home. Wasn't kidnapped.
The basement.
This case still never solved. No one's been held responsible since 1996, but some huge developments tonight we want to talk about. Let's bring in our special guest joining us in New York, senior reporter for the U.S. Sun, Luke Kenton is with us. Luke, great to see you. Thanks so much. Read your article. Wow. Let's talk about this development. It's a man named Gary Oliva. Gary Oliva, tell us what you found out about.
Were they not sure there was any signs of like a break-in? Patsy died of cancer. John remarried.
About him, what his link is to JonBenet Ramsey.
Yo, that's a pretty scary mugshot, man.
Yeah, so Gary Lever, first and foremost, is not a good guy. The story involving Gary kind of begins on the 27th of December 1996, when he was reported to Boulder police, because basically the night before, he'd called an old high school friend back in California, who he said through tears and it could barely catch his breath, "I've just hurt a little girl." So this was on the night that JonBenet's body was, a few hours after JonBenet's body was found on December 26th. Was crying that he'd hurt a little girl in Boulder, and he hung up the phone. Now his friend that was on the other end of the phone didn't know really what to make of that call, was obviously concerned, but couldn't get any information out of him. It wasn't until the next day that he went on the front porch, picked up the newspaper, and saw the news that a 6-year-old girl had been killed in Boulder, Colorado. He immediately calls the Boulder Police Department, reports the call from the day before, and then 3 months pass. He doesn't hear anything.
What? He doesn't hear anything for 3 months?
And he calls the tip line again.
Was it because they were getting too many tips, like maybe thousands and thousands of tips, and they just had a hard time sorting it all out?
Reports it to Boulder Police, doesn't hear anything again. Fast forward 19 years later, Gary Lever is in prison for child pornography offences and confesses in a series of letters to the same person that he called that night, claiming to have killed JonBenet by accident.
This is unbelievable.
Any details about how he did it, like how he broke in potentially?
I mean, this is, did police ever talk to this man in California?
Sarah says because the police already checked it out. He was incarcerated at that time. Wait, then why are we reporting on this? Oh, wait, hold on. She called BS.
I mean, he is claiming to have gotten a call.
Let's see what Vinnie Politan says.
Before this story is even in the news from this guy.
Yeah, so hours before it, made headlines across the country, he said, "I've hurt a little girl," and he's in Boulder. And bearing in mind at the time, this guy was was associated with a property about 13 houses away. He was getting his mail from a church, 13 houses away from the Ramsey family. And the tip, like I said, wasn't followed up upon immediately.
Can I just go straight to the comments really quick? I actually haven't seen this video yet. Sick how these grown men want to take responsibility for the little girl's death so bad. Police mishandled everything. Terrible police work. You can see how heavily medicated the mom was trying to deal with her loss. Such a sad case. Brother or mother, enough said. No kidnapper writes a 3-page ransom letter.
By Boulder police at the time, they were zeroing on either Patsy or John Ramsey being responsible for JonBenet's death. It wasn't actually until 4 years later when he was arrested on the campus of the University of Colorado in Boulder with pictures of JonBenet in his bag, a poem that he'd written to JonBenet called Ode to JonBenet, and he was also found with a stun gun, and that was kind of a crucial development for investigators because over the course of their investigation, after the first few months, they kind of theorized that perhaps that she was subdued with the stun gun prior to her death. So that's when police started looking at Gary, which was 4 years later.
Yet nothing seemed to...
Be cool says he's full of crap. She was hogtied.
...come of it all. Was he, in my understanding, there's a photo of him or images of him at a vigil for JonBenet as well?
Yeah, that's right. So this vigil took place on the year anniversary of her death. So that was on Christmas night, I believe that was held a short distance away from the Ramseys' home. And that picture that we published was actually taken by private investigators hired by John Ramsey.
Sarah says that she wasn't hogtied. Man, the last time I saw a documentary on this was, I think it was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It was a long time ago. Might have been on Netflix or something. I'm not sure.
Who were investigating Gary at that time, believing him to be a very credible suspect and certainly somebody that's capable of committing such a horrific act. The Boulder police wouldn't look at Gary for another 3 years after that.
Unbelievable. One final question. How specific were the details in these letters, these alleged confession letters?
Yeah, so the confession letters were written in and around 2019. There's roughly a dozen of them. One of them I can read you here. I've got it written down below me here. It says, I never loved anyone like I did JonBenet, yet I let her slip and her head bashed in half and I watched her die. It was an accident, please believe me. So he's claiming that he killed JonBenet by accident. Whether or not you can take that at face value, who knows? That's for Boulder Police to investigate. They did acknowledge the confession letters when they were first published in 2019, but seemed to kind of brush them under the carpet. They said, we've heard this guy confess before and we've looked into it. There's no further updates in this case. But I think, certainly he's a character that John Ramsey was particularly interested in. I think he's certainly somebody that's worth having a second look at.
Absolutely. Luke Kenton, U.S. Sun. Great job. Thanks so much, Luke. Appreciate it. All right, folks, let's bring back in our think tank. So, to me, right, we had John Mark Carr, who did the initial confession. They brought the guy back from Bangkok. I went out there, everyone out there. Unbelievable. At the time, the biggest moment in court TV history, when John Mark Carr first appeared in court in the United States. He didn't do it, right? It was just, a little whoo. So, to me, the key to
Is that the first person that they suspected?
this whole thing seems to be, if you don't mind, I'll go to Erica first. You guys mind? Seems to be this phone call. And I don't know if you can go back to 1996 to track phone records. Probably can't. But to me, that is the key. That's what makes this a little different.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm so glad that as time progresses, we're getting more information. I mean, finally, we got something that's giving us some indication of who possibly might have done it, because it's been any and everybody that's been blamed for this.
All right, we're getting a lot of different opinions. Unpopular opinion, guys. I don't think the family had anything to do with it. I think the parents did it. I don't think we have enough proof to point at anyone. They had no reason to kill her, spend $1,000 on her costumes and kill her. Makes no sense. Why would the parents? The note is a huge red flag. The note is interesting.
This is my new anecdote when I get asked about beyond a reasonable doubt and sufficiency of investigations. This is the most investigated case of my life. And here we had a report immediately, then 3 months later, never heard back. 4 years later, maybe we'll look at it. Now 19 years later?
Let's read the ransom note, I guess. Ooh, this is kind of long. Mr. Ramsey, listen carefully. Oh, Lord. We are a group of individuals that represent a small foreign faction. We, XX crossed out, respect your buzziness, but not the country that it serves. At the time, we have your daughter in our possession. She is safe and unharmed, and if you want to see her, 1997, you must follow our instructions to the letter. You will withdraw $118,000 from your account. $100,000 will be in $100 bills. The remaining $18,000 in $20 bills. Why would anyone ever want $18,000 in 20 bills? Just have it all in hundreds. Make sure you bring an adequate size attached to the bank. When you get home, you will put the money in the brown paper bag. I will call you between 8 and 10 a.m. tomorrow to instruct you on delivery. The delivery will be exhausting, so I advise you to be rested. If we monitor you getting the money early, we might call you early to arrange an earlier delivery of the money and hence an earlier delivery, crossed out, pickup of your daughter. It's kind of weird. Like, why would they write a ransom note if JonBenet was found in the basement? Any deviation of your instruction will result in the immediate execution of your daughter. You will also be denied her remains for proper burial. The two gentlemen watching over your daughter do not particularly like you, so I advise you not to provoke them. Speaking with anyone about your situation, such as police, FBI, etc., will result in your daughter being that. If we catch you talking to a stray dog, she dies. If you alert bank authorities, she dies. If your money is in any marked way or tampered with, she dies. You will be scanned for electronic devices, and if they are found, she dies. You can try to deceive us, but be warned that we are familiar with law enforcement countermeasures and tactics. You stand a 99% chance of killing your daughter if your daughter tries to outsmart us. If you try to outsmart us. Follow our instructions, and you stand a 100% chance of getting her back. You and your family are under constant scrutiny, as well as the authorities. Do not try to grow a brain, John. You are not the only fat cat around, so don't think that killing will be difficult. Don't underestimate us, John. Use that good Southern common sense of yours. It is up to you now, John. Victory. SBTC. What kind of damn letter is this? Everything is pedo. Patsy won the Miss Georgia or something like that. So to her, the beauty contest life was like normal. Ransom sounds like it was written by a crazy person, not a child. Or a person trying to sound crazy.
Later. And people ask about how we trust our criminal prosecution system and how we get to reason this.
I believe in our criminal prosecution system, but 19 years later, it's too much information that we can never prove. Just can't be done. Way never beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, right? Proving it, but trying to.
Was there like other family members that they may have suspected or family member friends? Aside from the very young brother, the mom and dad, were there any suspects?
Figure out who could have been responsible. All right, folks, programming note. JonBenet's father, John Ramsey, will join us live Friday night to discuss the latest in this investigation. We'll talk about this man Friday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. Right.
They're still fighting with the police to let them retest the DNA. But why leave a ransom letter if JonBenet was in the basement? Would it be like they were planning on kidnapping her? They left the letter, planned on kidnapping her, but then one of them rough-handled and then just left her body there? Nothing ever made sense. Yeah, I just remember it was like really like, it was just all over the place. But I feel like in cases like this, it's always like, you know, possibly someone that's close to the family. Could be the family, could be someone that's close, family friend. Jesus. Oh, I was hoping they would have like some good development. I don't know. It sounds like it's just kind of like, we'll see. Maybe. Let's actually talk about, so this I actually have not looked into it at all. I just heard that there was potentially a serial killer in New York who was caught. I think there was like 4 murders that happened by, what was the name of the beach again? Is it Gilgo Beach? Gilgo Beach in New York, which may be tied to a string of other murders that happened in other places of New York as well. Yeah, so I haven't actually looked into this at all. I haven't really watched any videos or anything. But I do know that the accused name is Rex, and they're like an architect or something. But I just want to read about the let's see. Yeah, let's just read. Oh man. Jesus. Rex, that's you. Rex is 6'6", 270 pounds. T-Rex. All right, guys, let's talk about Rex. County Court of Suffolk County, State of New York. Rex Heuermann. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Defendant Rex A. Heuermann stands before this court charged by the grand jury with murder in the first degree, Melissa Barthelemy, murder in the first degree, Megan Waterman, Amber Costello, murder in the second degree, Melissa Barthelemy, murder in the second degree, Megan Waterman, murder in the second degree of Amber Costello. As described below, based on the serious, heinous nature of these serial murders, the planning and forethought that went into these crimes, the strength of the people's case, the length of incarceration defendant faces upon conviction, the extended period of time the defendant was able to avoid apprehension, Jesus. His recent searches for sadistic materials, CP, images of the victims, relatives, counter surveillance conducted online as to the criminal investigation, his use of fictitious names, burner emails, and cell phone accounts. Oh, you know what? I did hear that allegedly he was like traumatizing the family members by reaching out to them and stuff like that. And his access to and history of possessing firearms only means to ensure defendant Rex A. Heuermann's return to court is to remand him without bail. Discovery of the victims. On December 11, 2010, police officer John Molly was conducting a training exercise with his canine partner Blue in Gilgo Beach, Suffolk County, New York. During the course of the training exercise, Blue located a set of human remains. The remains were later identified to those of Melissa Barthelemy. 2 days later, on December 13th, 2010, the SCPD continued to search in proximity to where the remains of Melissa was discovered. On that date, the members of the SCPD found 3 additional sets of human remains within 1/4 mile of the first discovery. So he was just like disposing the bodies, just tossing them out there. These 3 additional sets of remains were identified as those as Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. The cause of death of all women was determined to be homicidal violence. Wow, that's pretty fucking brazen. To have all these bodies being so close to each other. Probably wanting to get caught, maybe. Each woman had a burner phone he discarded. He would make calls. From the victims' phones. One of the victims fled from his home, talked to the police for 23 minutes, and didn't find her. The investigations into these deaths were linked as, in addition to other factors, the victims each appeared to have been placed in close proximity to each other, 22 to 23 feet from the edge of the parkway. All were petite females, approximately 22 to 27 years old. Petite females. Believed to be working as sex workers. I wonder if he targeted women that were small because, probably didn't want to target women that were like 6 feet tall that might be able to overpower him. Believed to be working as sex workers. All had missing clothing, personal possessions. All had been killed by homicide. All had contact shortly before the disappearance with a person using a burner cell phone. Cell phones without an associated verified identity. And the cell phones of 2 of the 4 victims. Brainerd Barnes and Bartholomew were used by the killer. Oh my God, after their deaths. In addition, each of the 4 victims were found similarly positioned, bound in a similar fashion by either belts or tape, with 3 of the victims found wrapped in burlap type material. Oh man, I was listening about this case. It was in Alaska or Canada, somewhere up north, where the woman was also a sex worker as well. She was abducted, brought into like the guy's house, was like tortured, and she was able to escape. But I think when she ran to police officers, you guys know what case I'm talking about? I feel like the police officers like didn't believe her or something until it happened again to someone else. And at that point, they were finally able to catch the killer. And it was also like a serial killer, like up in north somewhere. You guys know who I'm talking about? I was watching this maybe 6 months ago on one of the true crime YouTube channels. But man, that's just imagine going through one of the worst things you can ever go through, and then run to the police, and then they just don't believe you. Jesus. And then just being on edge that any day, any time, that person can still come after you. You remember the case? Yeah, it was somewhere up north. Yeah, he hunted women like animals. Right. I think he gave them a chance to run like it was a fucking game. And he would basically just hunt them down. But I think she made it out of that. Or I don't know if she made it out when he was out of the house or something. But Jesus. Recent investigation. In January 2022, the Suffolk County District Office Attorney assigned an experienced team of investigators, analysis, and prosecutors to work jointly with law enforcement partners from Suffolk County Police Department. A comprehensive review of every item of evidence and information in this investigation was undertaken by the team. On March 14, 2022, approximately 2 months into the renewed joint investigation, this comprehensive review led to the discovery of the first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche that was registered defendant Rex Heuermann at the time of these murders. As described below, this was significant because a witness to the disappearance of Amber Costello identified a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche as the vehicle believed to have been driven by her killer. This discovery led to a comprehensive investigation of defendant Heuermann, which was consisted over 300 subpoenas, search warrants, and other legal process to obtain evidence. A discussed more fully below, among the items uncovered were cell phone billing records for defendant Heuermann, responding to cell phone site locations for 1, burner cell phones used for arranging meetings with 3 of the 4 victims, 2, taunting calls made to the relatives of Miss Bartholomew. I might be severely butchering this up, so if you guys know how to pronounce this name, let me know. 3, a call made by detective to Miss Bartholomew's phone while looking into her disappearance. 4, calls checking voicemail on Miss Brainerd Barnes' cell phone after her disappearance. In addition, Heuermann lived in Massapequa Park, where the victims were believed to have disappeared from. He worked in Midtown Manhattan, in the vicinity where the taunting calls were made to the sister of Miss Bartholomew. As set forth more fully below, defendant Rex A. Heuermann is believed to be the person who used the cell phone, burner cell phones to communicate with each of the 4 victims prior to the disappearance, who used Miss Brainerd Barnes' cell phone and Miss Bartholomew's cell phones after their deaths. The fuck? Both defendants, Heuermann and these burner cell phones, had significant connection to Midtown Manhattan and Massapequa Park, New York. Jesus. Police never believed her. The guy ran a bakery. Oh, yes. The guy ran a bakery, abducted girls, flew them out. That's what it was. Yeah, flew them out to the brush and hunted them down. Oof. I don't know. I feel like I'm just getting like similar vibes for this case. Had fake names and emails as well. Hold on. Let me drink a protein shake really quick because I'm kind of like, ooh, low queasy. His second mistake, not accounting for phone advancements. If he hadn't mocked the families, he might have not been caught. Hey, Sassy Sandra, how are you doing today? Thanks for popping in. Hello. Makes me think of the Fresh movie with Sebastian Stan. Wait, Fresh? Is that the movie that has like a very like gory movie cover where it's like a girl with like blood all over her face? You know, I watched a really weird movie recently because I think we were talking about it a couple months ago. We looked through a bunch of movies that Johnny Depp was in, and one of the movies was Tusk. And someone in my chat was like, you should watch Tusk. And I was like, okay. I watched Tusk, and it was one of the weirdest movies I've ever watched. I enjoyed it, though. It's definitely like the dark humor comedy. And Johnny Depp's character in it is like... Don't watch Orphan. I like the first Orphan. The second one looks kind of meh. I feel like it was you, Nacho. I think it was you. But I think you haven't seen it yet, right? I don't know. Someone recommended it to me and I watched it and I was like, what the heck am I watching? What is this? The second Orphan was like meh. Yeah. I watched the Foundflix did a recap of it and I was like, oh, this looks so boring. All right. The disappearance. Oh, hold on. Oh, I just drank the protein. The disappearance and murder of Melissa Bartholomew. Melissa Bartholomew was last seen on July 10, 2009 in New York City. At the time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On July 3, 2009, Miss Bartholomew was contacted by a burner cell phone. Thereafter, Bartholomew's cell phone was contacted by this burner cell phone on July 6 and July 10, which was the last day she was seen alive. On July 10, 2009, cell phone sites records indicate the burner cell phone traveled from Massapequa Park to Midtown Manhattan. Later that evening, Bartholomew's cell phone traveled from Midtown Manhattan to Massapequa, with the last cell site location being in Massapequa on July 11, 2009 at approximately 1:43 a.m. I guess I'm just really surprised. What cell phone was this? Who was the provider? I'm surprised that they still have the records available. On July 11, 2009, Miss Bartholomew's cell phone was used to make an outbound call, checking her voicemail from a cell site location in Freeport. On July 11 and 12, the Bartholomew phone made 2 more outbound calls, checking her voicemails from cell site locations in Babylon. On July 17th, 23rd, August 5th, August 19th, August 26th, Bartholomew phone made taunting phone calls to Miss Bartholomew's family members, some of which resulted in a conversation between the caller, who was male, and a relative of Melissa Bartholomew, in which the male caller admitted killing and SA Miss Bartholomew. What is wrong with this guy? As described below, the cell site locations of Bartholomew phone during these taunting calls were all in Midtown Manhattan. The disappearance and murder of Megan Waterman. Megan Waterman was last seen alive at Holiday Inn in Hauppauge, New York on June 6th at approximately 1:30 a.m. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On June 5th, 2010, Ms. Waterman's cell phone was contacted by another burner cell phone, which had been activated that day. Thereafter, the Waterman phone communicated with this burner cell phone on June 6, 2010 at approximately 1:30 a.m., which is around the time Megan Waterman was captured on video surveillance exiting the Holiday Inn at Hauppauge for the last time. Following that communication, the burner cell phone had no further phone activity. However, cell phone records show that Waterman phone traveled from Massapequa Park, with the last cell site location being in Massapequa Park at approximately 3:11 a.m. in the vicinity of the residence of defendant Heuermann. Oof. Wait, what's the background history on this guy? Is he married? Married? With kids? Anyone know? Or does anyone want to guess? Madison, a work meeting I completely spaced out on. So happy I got to tune in for this long. Good night, y'all. Bye, Madison. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, I was just going to say that. Oh. Married to 2 daughters? How old are his daughters? Oh my God. Disappearance and murder of Amber Costello. Amber Costello was last seen alive on September 2nd, 2010. Jesus. What a brazen fucking killer. July. August. Was it September? September. Amber Costello was last seen alive on September 2nd, 2010, leaving her residence at 1112 America Avenue in West Babylon during the late evening hours. At the time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On September 1st, 2010, the day prior to the disappearance of Amber Costello, Ms. Costello's phone was contacted by a burner phone. On September 1st, 2010, this burner phone had communications with the Costello phone at approximately 11:33 p.m. and 11:34 p.m. During these communications, the burner cell phone connected to the cell site towers in West Amityville and Massapequa Park. Therefore, the burner cell phone traveled to West Babylon in proximity of the residence of Amber Costello and had contact with the Costello phone at approximately 12:05 a.m. So Rex is how old now? Like 50? 50? So this was like what, like late 30s for him? Maybe 40s? According to witnesses around the time of these communications between the burner cell phone and the Costello phone on September 1st, 2nd, 2010, a prostitution client showed up at Ms. Costello's residence located in West Babylon, New York. West Babylon, New York. How far is that from New York City and Manhattan and stuff? I'm actually not familiar with any of these names. I only know New York City. I know Brooklyn. I know Flushing. I don't know. I don't know any of these. I know. Could you imagine your dad doing this? Holy, yeah. There must be a lot of maybe denial. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if there's family members that are supporting him, because sometimes these people are really good at turning the switch on and off. Oh, this is all okay. So the whole thing is in Long Island. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was like Long Island and then like I don't know if like West Babylon and all these other places are like elsewhere. Okay, West Babylon's like an hour away. Okay, thanks guys. You know what? I feel like the best way is to New York map. Let's learn about the map of New York. New York map. New York. Let's see. New York. Where's New York City? Oh, this is like New Jersey, right? Jersey. This is Manhattan, right? Yeah, Manhattan. Queens is right here. Brooklyn. Long Beach. Geez, how big is New York? New York is This is all New York too, right? I remember New York has like inland. Yeah, this is like all like inland New York stuff over here. New York, West Babylon. West Babylon, New York. West Babylon. So all like right here. Okay. So this is like all like Long Island. All right here. Okay. Massapequa, where he lives. Wait, he commuted all the way from Massapequa to Manhattan for work? Yes. Jeez. Oh my God. The beach is on the Jones Beach Island. I could never. Oh, there's a commuter line. Okay, so maybe he looked through the train or something like that. According to witnesses around the time of these communications between the burner cell phone and the Costello phone on September 1st to 2nd, 2010, a prostitution client showed up at Ms. Costello's residence located in West Babylon, New York. After the client entered the home, the ruse was executed on the client, whereby a person pretended to be the outraged boyfriend of Amber Costello, and the client left the residence. While Amber Costello retained the money the client had brought to pay for her services. Based upon interviews, the client was described as a large white male, approximately 6'4" to 6'6" in height, in his mid-40s, with dark, bushy hair, big oval-styled 1970s type glasses. A witness described him to the police as appearing as an ogre. Yikes, we got a Shrek on our hands. Furthermore, witness noticed a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche parked in the driveway of the residence. According to the witness, following the ruse, the client said he was just her friend. Tell her I'll give her a call, and walked out the front door. Thereafter, at approximately 1:18 a.m. on September 2nd, after the ruse has been perpetrated, the burner cell phone sent a text message to the Costello phone which stated, "That was not nice, so I blank credit for next time." Phone records show that the burner phone was located in Massapequa Park within 2 minutes of the text message being sent. According to a witness, later the next day on September 2nd, 2010, Ms. Costello was again contacted by the same client that was in the house the night before with the avalanche. Further, Amber told us that he was... Oh, guys, quick question. How long has he been married for, and how old are his daughters? At this time, was he married during this time? Probably, right? If they're in their 40s? Further, Amber told us that he wanted to see her again, but he didn't want to come back to the house because of her boyfriend. Thereafter, on September 2nd, 2010, at approximately 9:32 p.m., oh, adults. The same burner cell phone from the previous evening again communicated with the Costello phone. During this communication, the burner cell phone was used to cell site. Oh, just downstairs is fine. I'll bring it up here. Thank you. You don't want Shira to get it? But Shira wants to get it. Maybe put it in the kitchen counter? Yeah, thank you. Following this communication and based upon the cell set records, the burner cell phone traveled to Massapequa Park and had contacts with the Costello phone at approximately 10:39 p.m. and 11:05 p.m. Cell set records for the burner phone indicate that approximately 11:17 p.m. the phone traveled to West Babylon in proximity to the residence of Amber Costello. Subsequently, Amber Costello left her own cell phone behind, walked to the front door of the residence, and was seen alive for the last time. I wonder if he kept the same cell phone till this very day. Like, if he kept the same cell phone provider, so same phone number and everything. Because he must have had like a burner phone, and then he must have had like his cell phone with him. Right? Shortly after Ms. Costello left the house, a witness observed a dark-colored truck pass the house, specifically coming from the direction Amber had walked towards. Records established the defendant Heuermann's wife was out of New York. There you go. He was married at the time. Was out of New York for the disappearance of Bartholomew Waterman and Costello. Oh my God. Oh my God. I feel so bad for his family. Significantly, travel records show that on July 8, 2009, defendant Heuermann's wife departed to the United States for Iceland. On August 18, 2009, defendant Heuermann's wife returned to the United States. Consequently, defendant Heuermann's wife was out of the country during the time of Melissa Bartholomew's disappearance. You know, there's this movie that I watched. I don't know if it's like based on a true story. I don't remember. But there's a movie that I watched where these kids lived in the same neighborhood as this guy. And this guy would wait until his wife would go like out of town. And he would like kidnap women, murder them, wear his clothes. And I feel like this kid accidentally I think it was like the kid was friends with his kid. and then like accidentally found out that the dad was like a serial killer or something. You think you saw that? Yeah, it was a movie, right? Like I think they found like his like pictures or something that he had. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of movies like this, but that was an interesting movie too. I'm trying to remember what the ending was. Based upon cellular telephone billing records on June 4, 2010, the cellular telephone just subscribed to by defendant Heuermann's wife traveled from New York to Maryland. On June 8, 2010, the cellular telephone subscribed to by defendant Heuermann's wife returned to New York from Maryland. Consequently, based upon the cellular telephone records, the records subscribed by defendant Heuermann's wife was out of New York during the time of Megan Waterman's disappearance. Based upon cellular telephone records, on August 28, 2010, the cell phone subscribed to defendant Heuermann's wife traveled from New York to New Jersey. On September 5th, the cellular telephone subscribed by his wife returned to New York from New Jersey. Subsequently, the cellular telephone subscribed to the defendant Heuermann's wife. Oh my God, that is such a long... I know they're trying to be really specific and exact, but I feel like they could have like worded this a little bit better. Was out of New York State during the time of Emma Costello's disappearance. Cellular billing records for the cell phone of Rex A. Heuermann. During the time of the disappearance and the murder of the victims, defendant Heuermann owned he owned the business, an architectural business located in Midtown Manhattan. This business was named subscriber of Heuermann's cell phone, which was active during the times of the victim's disappearance and subscribed to Heuermann's home address in Massapequa Park. Although cell site records from that time period no longer exist, investigators obtained cellular billing records which showed general location information for Heuermann's cell phone. Oh, okay. So I was wondering, I was like, yeah, how long do these records last? A review of these records, as well as Heuermann's American Express records, showed numerous instances where Heuermann was located in the same general locations as the burner cell phones used to contact victims Bartholomew, Waterman, and Costello. I saw recently there was a thumbnail. I forgot which one. It was either Court TV or Law and Crime, where it's like his defense is like, well, no one saw him do it. There's no witnesses. Yeah, we'll see how that works out. As well as the use of Brainard Barnes and Bartholomew's cell phones when they were used to check voicemails and making taunting phone calls after the women disappeared. Significantly, investigators could find no instance where Heuermann was in a separate location from these cell phones, such as when the communication event occurred. For example, on July 10, 2009, the last day Melissa Bartholomew was seen alive, both the burner phone and defendant Heuermann's phone were in the area of Massapequa traveled together around New York City. Oh, dude. How are they going to explain their way out of this one? Therefore, Miss Bartholomew's phone and Heuermann's phone traveled eastbound towards Massapequa. On July 14, 2009, at approximately 7:15, cell site records indicate the burner phone used to contact Miss Bartholomew prior to her disappearance had activity in Manhattan. On the same date, approximately 6:58 p.m. and 7:22 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's phone was also showed call locations in New York City. I think, don't they also believe that there may have been other victims as well, aside from the four? Who do they think is their most recent victim? Hey, Melissa, how are you doing today? Hi, Paul. Akira, hello, how's it going? How are you doing today? Whew. Following Ms. Bartholomew's disappearance on July 17, 2009, at approximately 12:40 p.m., a male caller used the Bartholomew phone to contact Ms. Bartholomew's family. Oh. The Bartholomew phone was located in New York City at the time, specifically attached to the cellular tower located at 4 Penn Plaza, which is approximately 4.45 miles from Heuermann's then office space, which at the time was located at 19 West 36th Street, New York, New York. Victim's phone and his office. On July 22nd at 6:51 p.m., cell site records indicate a burner cell phone had activity in New York City, specifically attached to a cellular tower located at 19 West 34th Street, which is approximately 0.16 miles from defendant Heuermann's then office space. Yikes. July 23rd at approximately 1:39 p.m., cell site records indicate that the burner's cell phone had activity in New York City, specifically attached to the cell phone tower located at 19 West 34th Street. Oh man, we're all near his workplace. On July 23rd at approximately 6:42 p.m., a male caller used the Bartholomew phone to contact her family. Bartholomew phone was located in New York City at the time, specifically attached to a cell tower located on West 39th Street, which is approximately 0.16 miles from Heuermann's then office space. On July 23rd, between approximately 8:29, the burner's cell phone had activity in New York City. Later on the same date at approximately 11:05 p.m., billing records for Heuermann's cell phone listed a call located in Jamaica, Queens. Wait, hold on. Refresh my memory. Let me think. So far, how were they able to sniff this person out? I think I forgot. Did I forget? So far, we have like cell phone. We have like the car. Some witnesses, but how were they able to actually find this person? Hi, Halsey. How are you doing today? Yeah, just tuning in, but this guy's so creepy. I have a friend that grew up right there in Long Beach Island, or Long Island Beach. The car, the phones. Like, I wonder, like, what like, you know, with like Kohberger, right? It was like they found the white Kia. They tracked the white Kia, saw that it went to the school, asked who drives a white Kia. And then from then on, they had a list of people and they were able to pinpoint that, okay, it was Kohberger. Oh, DNA? Oh, the DNA on a pizza crust. Oh my God. I guess I'm not there yet. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm like one of those people that just gets really impatient. Oh God. Okay. On August 10, 2009, based upon subpoena travel records, Heuermann departed for Iceland and all phone activity for Bartholomew phone stopped. On August 18, 2009, Heuermann returned from Iceland and phone activity for the Bartholomew phone resumed the next day. Yikes. You know what? I'm so glad that the family members are going to be able to get some sort of closure, because I feel like you don't really get closure, but you get a little bit of closure, you know? Oh man, it's been like 14, 15 years. Jesus, I feel so bad for these family members. He dropped the pizza in a trash bin. August 19, approximately 7:23 p.m., a male caller used Bartholomew's phone to contact Ms. Bartholomew's family. Cell site records indicate the Bartholomew phone was located in New York City at the time, specifically attached to the cellular tower at 249 West 36th Street, about 0.53 miles from the Heuermann's then office space. On the same date, before and after the call to the Bartholomew's family at approximately 7:28 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's cell phone list calls located in New York City. Okay, so we just have a bunch of cell phone calls that were made close to his work because, you know what? He probably had, what was he, like the owner of this architecture firm or something like that? He was probably able to privately close his door, not worry about anyone coming in. Probably told him he had like a important meeting, so he doesn't have to worry about someone just like popping in on him. And his wife, kids were not there, so can't do these calls at home, right? Because they're probably there. Jesus. Additional burner phones and online activity linked to defendant Heuermann. As described, over the course of the comprehensive investigation of defendant Heuermann, investigators located a number of online accounts and burner cell phones linked to defendant Heuermann, but which were held by him in fictitious names and used for illicit activities. American Express records obtained via subpoena revealed recurring Google Pay payments made by defendant Heuermann to Tinder. What do you use? Why would you need to connect payments to Tinder again? Is like, do you have to pay on Tinder to get more matches or something like that? And online dating and geos, we know what Tinder is. Dates, hookups. Records were then obtained from Tinder, which revealed the Tinder profile was set up in the name Andy. Heuermann's middle name is Andrew. Oh, wow. So creative. With links to this burner cell phone. Subscribing the fictitious name of Andrew Roberts using an email account. The redacted account was also established with AOL. Who used AOL? With the fictitious name John Springfield with an Astoria, Queens, New York zip code. Oh, so at this point, were they just like not picking up sex workers and they're just trying to like find their victims on Tinder? Records obtained from Verizon show defendant Heuermann's cell phone was used on December 11, 2022 for a period of over 3 hours to access the fictitious redacted AOL account. Similarly, records obtained from T-Mobile show that burner cell phone, redacted, was used on multiple days, including November 8, 2022, to access the account. A review of the call records for these two additional burner cell phones revealed that both cell phones were used extensively between 2021 and 23 for prostitution-related contacts, either with sex workers or massage parlors. In addition, cell site warrants for these burner cell phones revealed that just like the burner cell phones defendant Heuermann used to contact the victims prior to their disappearance, these additional burner cell phones had frequent cell site activity in Midtown Manhattan and Massapequa Park. Specifically, the records revealed that both these burner cell phones consistently had activity on the cellular towers. Oh, hi, Chai. How are you doing today? Maybe payments to Tinder allows you to do booty calls. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like there's like a feature where it's like, okay, now you can like do like video calls together or something like that. Hey, Ricta, how are you doing today? Always eat your crust. No Tinder. Here, fire went out years ago. Lol. You can swipe more if you pay. AOL's still a thing. Listen, when I see people with an AOL email or Yahoo, MSN, I'm just like, guys, please update. I don't know. Just you're gonna get hacked, man. Be careful. You're doing well. How are you doing? I'm just okay. You know, going over some deep, dark stuff as always. Showing my age, but I remember using AOL dial-up like 2001. Yes, AOL dial-up. Me too. I think I have like an AOL. Oh, you have an AOL disc somewhere that you use as a coaster? Oh, I wanted to get a hold of an AOL disc. I remember we used to get them all the time, like the AOL disc to download the AOL like freaking thing. Yeah, I need to get my hand on a hold of one. I use it when I sign up for things. Oh man, I feel like my friends that have like the Yahoo still, that's where like they all get hacked, and then like you get like the fake emails where it's like, hey, I need money and blah blah blah. But yeah, I don't know. AOL, Yahoo. Oh God, those annoying AOL discs. You got mail. Remember back then where like if you're on AOL or you're like on dial-up and then your parents had to make a call, you had to like disconnect from the internet so they can use the phone. Hi, Blues Girl. How are you doing today? AOL is your spam email. We use them as frisbees. Yeah, they used to like just like spam the crap out of you and just leave them in front of your house and your mailboxes and stuff like that. It's like, I already have AOL. Why are you giving me this? Stop. Legal process served on Google seeking records or accounts associated with the device identifiers of these additional burner cell phones revealed a connection to yet another burner or junk email account, namely redacted, here in the redacted email account. Google further indicates that the redacted email account was subscribed in the fictitious name Thomas Hawk. A search warrant revealed that redacted email account associated with burner cell phone, redacted, was used to conduct thousands of searches related to sex workers, sadistic, torture-related pornography, and child CP as well, including, oh God, well, that's all redacted. The redacted email account was also used to conduct in excess of 200 searches between March 2022 and June 2023. Oh God, that was last month. Related to active and known serial killers, the specific disappearance and murders of Maureen Brandon Barnes, Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello, and the investigation to the murders. A mega fat redaction here. The redacted email account was also used to search for a number of podcasts and or documentaries regarding this investigation, all redacted. Significantly, defendant Heuermann was also searched for and viewed articles concerning the very task force that was investigating him. So March 20, 2022, search Long Island serial killer. Here are the women. These are the pages. A search warrant conducted on the fictitious redacted AOL account further revealed selfie photos appeared to have been taken by defendant Rex Heuermann of himself and sent to other persons to solicit and arrange for sexual activity, further linking Heuermann to the fictitious email account and the burner cell phone used to establish the account. Could we not call them the Long Island serial killer, I guess? We should give him like a really lame name. The pizza crust serial killer. Defendant Rex A. Heuermann was further linked to the burner cell phone because on May 19, 2023, Heuermann was observed by law enforcement via video and field surveillance at a cell phone store in Midtown Manhattan and purchased additional minutes which were added to the burner cell phone. Does anyone still hear from the Prince of Nigeria? No, nowadays it's all from your family members who are trying to borrow money. And you got to be careful, man. They're using like AI stuff now to like try to match the voices of your family members. I don't know. It's all just like family members and friends now where it's like, hey, you know, like I have a problem. Can you please help me? I need to borrow money, you know? Yeah, it's crazy. It's the scams have just been more and more intricate. Oh, that's right. Ogre. Yes, the ogre. Because I feel like, you know, he probably wants to be known as the Long Island serial killer. We'll call him the ogre, the Shrek killer. Analysis of the redacted AOL accounts also led to the discovery of another email account redacted hereinafter the redacted Google account, used on February 14, 2021, to send an image of the prostitute from upstate New York between two of the Heuermann secret email accounts. Further investigation revealed that redacted Google account was created on 14 of February 2021 using burner's cell phone, redacted as the user's phone number and SMS recovery number, and subscribed to the fictitious name Andy Roberts. The same name. Wait, I have a quick question. Is he divorced now or something? Because how was he making Tinder profiles? Because like, wouldn't he be recognized? Maybe him and his partner separated. Because like, I feel like someone would be like, "Hey, by the way, your husband is on Tinder. Why is your husband on Tinder?" As well as the same alias utilized by defendant Heuermann in communications with numerous potential sex partners responding to his advertisements for sex, and the fictitious birthday of August 6, 1972, which corresponds to the digital ending of the burner account redacted. In addition, Google provided IP address information to the user's acceptance of terms of service, which revealed that the terms of service were accepted on February 14, 2024. Oh my God, and they have the IP address for this too. Jesus. Significantly, records were obtained from Altus. Oh, I just want to know if he is divorced now or if he's still with his wife. Because he was on Tinder. During business as... Significantly, records were obtained from Altus doing business as Optimum, which is an internet service provider, indicating the IP address of defendant's Heuermann's home address was also redacted. Jesus, they have so much information. Moreover, based on SCPD records from the official website GilgoNews.com, a website maintained by SCPD to disperse news pertaining to their investigation, defendant Heuermann's home IP address was used on May 23, 2020, July 3, 2020, to access official news concerning this investigation. Records obtained from JetBlue also show the IP address was also utilized to book flights for defendant Heuermann and his wife in 2018. Okay, so 2018, they were still together. When analyzing the usage of all devices accounts by defendant Heuermann, there appears to be a clear pattern wherein Heuermann used burner phones and burner junk email addresses to 1. Contact sex workers and sex partners, to conduct extensive researches related to sex and prostitution, violence, sadistic, and CP. And 3, seek online information about the authorities investigating his crimes. These burner cell phones and email accounts with fictitious identities were used in an effort to conceal Heuermann's true identity, conceal his criminal activity, unlawfully proposition sex workers, and attempt to monitor the investigation of his crimes. DNA analysis of hairs recovered from the examination of the victim's body. During the course of the investigation, each of the 4 victims' bodies were examined by forensic scientists with the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory. Huge redaction here. In or about July 2022, Forensic Laboratory 1 was able to determine that each of the aforementioned female hairs recovered on 3 victims each belonged to a female individual in mitochondrial haplogroup K1C2, and that this female was not any of the victims. On or about July 21st, 2022, an undercover SCP detective recovered 11 bottles from a trash receptacle that had been left out for collection at the residence of defendant Rex A. Heuermann. The Suffolk County Crime Laboratory took swabs of bottles, which were subsequently sent to Forensic Laboratory 1 for DNA profiling. Based on these submissions, on or about February 24th, 2023, Forensic Laboratory was able to conclude that one of the DNA profiles generated from the aforementioned bottles taken from defendant Heuermann's residence indicated a female individual belonging to mitochondrial haplogroup K1C2. So again, you get your mitochondria from your mom. So yeah. Just a random note. Forensic Laboratory 2, on or about February 23rd, 2023, the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory requested Forensic Laboratory number 2, a lab specializing... Are we getting to the pizza part soon? We are, right? Yeah, page 27. Oh, we're about to get to the pizza part. A lab specializing in forensic mitochondria analysis to conduct additional independent analysis. On or about June 12, 2023, Forensic Laboratory 2 issued a report concluding that DNA sample from the female recovered in the bottles outside outside the residence of defendant Heuermann, i.e. Heuermann's wife. Oh, God, he's still with this wife. Oh, man. Oh, poor wife. And the female hair on Costello indicated that the mitochondrial DNA profiles are the same at all compared positions common to and between samples, specifically at a rate that would, as per EMPOP database, exclude 99.98% of all North American population from the female hair on Costello. New York City looks really crappy. Most of Long Island looks really nice. I've never been to Long Island before. Iceland. I hear Iceland's really beautiful, but I hear their food is like not good. They're known for like this like stinky fish or stinky shark, like fermented shark or something, right? She didn't know she was nice with the kids every time he did this. Yeah, I feel so bad for the families. Oh my God. Forensic laboratory number 2 then compared the profile associated with the DNA sample from Heuermann's wife to one of the 2 aforementioned female hairs recovered in the remains of Ms. Waterman, which also resulted in the conclusion that mitochondrial DNA profile are the same as all compared positions common to in between samples, specifically at a rate where you would exclude 99.69% of North American population from the hair recovered on Ms. Waterman. Based on the foregoing, while 99.98% of the North American population can be excluded from the female hair in Costello and 99.69% of the North American population are excluded from the female hair on Waterman, it's significant that Heuermann's wife cannot be excluded from either the female hairs recovered on the remains of Megan Waterman and Amber Costello. As previously noted, defendant Heuermann's wife was out of state at the time of Ms. Waterman and Ms. Costello's disappearance and murders. Redaction. Male hair linked to defendant Heuermann. During the initial examination of Ms. Waterman's skeletal remains and the burlap materials, the crime laboratory was able to recover a male hair from the bottom of the burlap used to wrap Ms. Waterman by her killer. Hereinafter, male hair on Waterman. An initial examination of said hair revealed Caucasian European characteristics. However, the hair was unsuitable for further DNA analysis at the time by the crime county laboratory. This hair was subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis on or about July 31st, 2020. Laboratory number 1 was able to generate a DNA profile for the hair recovered on the bottom of the Waterman burlap. Specifically, Forensic Laboratory 1 determined that his hair belonged to a male in a mitochondrial group, haplogroup V7A. Following the discovery of the Chevrolet Avalanche, which was registered to the defendant Heuermann, and the investigation of cellular billing records and other items, on or about January 26, 2023, a surveillance group team observed and recovered a pizza box thrown by defendant Rex A. Heuermann into a garbage that was located in Manhattan. Oh. The pizza box was sent to Suffolk County Crime Laboratory for analysis, where a swab was taken from the leftover pizza crust. On or about March 23, 2023, the laboratory sent the swab from the pizza crust abandoned by defendant Heuermann to Forensic Laboratory number 2. On or about April 28, 2023, a detective hand-delivered the Forensic Laboratory number 1 a portion of male hair on Waterman to Forensic Laboratory number 2 for testing. On or about June 12, 2023, Forensic Laboratory was able to determine that the male hair on watermelon and the swab in the pizza crust that the mitochondrial DNA profile are the same, specifically at a rate that would exclude 99.96 American population. Based on the foregoing, while 99.96 American population can be excluded from the male hair on Waterman, it's significant that defendant Heuermann cannot be excluded from the male hair recovered near the bottom of the burlap. Damn, his DNA just everywhere. Arrest and search of Heuermann, his residence, and other locations. He's rich, right? So he's already hired a lawyer. Not getting a public defender. Pretty sure it was a secret life. Nothing points to the wife being involved in any way. And honestly, if he's your husband, I'm sure you like your space. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just never know. Especially if you have like significant others that are living independent, lives of each other sometimes, right? Doing their own thing, going on vacation sometimes, having time apart. Mark Benek made a video about this topic as well. On or about evening of July 13, 2023, defendant Rex A. Heuermann was arrested by Suffolk County police officers. Search of his residence as well as other locations are currently ongoing. At the time of the arrest, oh my God, defendant Heuermann had on his person the burner cell phone redacted, which is linked to the redacted email account used to conduct online search described above. Penalties. If convicted on current charges, defendant Rex A. Heuermann faces multiple sentences of life without parole. Remand without bail is appropriate. Yeah, I agree. Oh my God, I feel so bad for his family. I'm so glad that the victims' families, though, are going to finally get some closure. This just went on for like way too long. Oh, a German forensic expert. Oh, interesting. I actually don't know any forensic experts that are on YouTube. Oh. So this, I think, Law and Crime came out with this video, but I think it's probably just like the same thing that we just read from New York Times, right? Oh, this is Sarah Boone. Ew. Very famous. Let's see. Mark Benek. Oh, are they located in New York? Meet the software programmer who cracked the Zodiac serial killer code. Oh! Wait. Oh, no. Is he just interviewing them? Oh, okay. That's great. They caught him with the phone. Oof, oof, oof. Yep. Not looking good. We'll keep an eye. I think the other case that we're going to talk about, probably not today because I'm going to go eat. I'm kind of hungry. We'll probably watch a video about it, about the disappearance of Rudy. Because I actually I haven't looked into that at all. I haven't listened to anything. I've just heard from you guys that his mom was like really like crazy or something. He pled not guilty. Oh man. For what I saw, I think it was like Law and Crime. All right, let's see. Law and Crime. I think he said that like there are no witnesses. Was that? I think. Ooh, what the heck is this? I forgot. It might have been Law and Crime. Law and Crime or Court TV posted a video where his defense is like, "Oh, there are no witnesses, so." Oh, you know what? I was gonna go over the chat thing, but I'll probably do it a different day. I feel like we had a lot of super heavy, disturbing stuff already. The Bradley Yohn case? I don't know who that is. Who's that? He's from Cologne. I think so. I heard it earlier. Kind of bushed out of town. House guest, not much rest or downtown here. Oh, get some good rest. Yeah, get some good rest and take care. All right, guys. Yeah, I think that's it for today. There was some other stuff that I wanted to talk about, but we can do that a different day. Just a reminder, if you guys weren't here earlier today, we talked about Sarah Boone trial stuff being pre-trial stuff is going to happen this Friday, 21st. So we might see Sarah Boone in court. And then also Taylor Schabusiness also has stuff in court as well this Friday. We talked about the Kohberger stuff, and I think that's what else did we talk about? Oh, and then the Gilgo Beach murders as well. So just read the court document for that. Enjoy being with you. Watch Frozen Ground. What's that? I don't know what that is. I'll rewind to what I missed. Yeah, I think what happens is when I end the stream, it's gonna just like end it and say you can't view it anymore. You have to click back into it. So, but yeah, I will maybe, I don't know if I'll chop this video, but I don't know. This stream thing, we're definitely gonna get demonetized. But anyways, thanks for hanging out. Thank you so much for all the kind words about Stevie, by the way. Do appreciate it. Appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you guys chatting with me. Thanks for having me in the background. I know today was a bit of a slow stream, but I enjoy reading the court documents, and it's okay if you guys just have me in the background while you guys are doing your thing, do your multitasking and stuff like that. But I do appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for hanging out. If you're new here, though, don't forget to join the Discord. Discord is like a hangout spot. If there's any cases you want me to cover, any videos or anything like that, you can post it in there. And then also, we have my Japan vlog that's out. Feel free to watch if you're into like travel stuff. And other than that, I think what I'm going to post more of though, I do want to do more like vlogging stuff. I don't know. Because I feel like with Steve passing away, I was really glad that I was able to like capture a lot of like videos of him and like post it on my channel. And so now it's like, I definitely want to post more videos with like Shiro in it as well. I don't know. I feel like it's a great way to like immortalize your little pets forever, and you have like things to like watch back on and stuff like that. So that was always my goal for making the vlogs anyways, because I knew that one day Stevie was going to pass away and I wanted to make sure I had like videos to watch and stuff like that. Yeah, he passed away. Little Bubba. He had an obstruction in the small intestine and he ate like the little fuzz. You know, like how he always has like the squeaker toys back here. Some of them have like little tiny fuzz that he ate. And I don't know if it was just an accumulation and it finally just like really clogged up because he pooped that day. He was able to poop that day. yeah, he pooped that day. He ate that day, but that day he like threw up and couldn't even drink any water. But yeah, so I don't know. Watch out for the little toys. Watch out for anything that your dog eats. Supervise them, because for me, I just always thought these fuzz weren't a huge deal. You hear about dogs dying from like eating like, I don't know, Kongs, balls, rocks, or like the ropey toys, where the intestines get all just like mangled up and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I never really took the little fuzz thing seriously. We were so sad this past weekend. He passed away. He was sick on Monday. It was when I did the Lexi Treviso stream for like, I think 30, 40 minutes. He was sick that day. And then, we're trying to take him to the ER that night. One ER doctor kind of like turned him away. Thought like the case wasn't too serious. And then the other one, we couldn't get a reach of. And I was like, you know what? Maybe we'll just wait and we'll take him to the vet the next day, because we had an appointment already. So I took him to the vet the next day. She thought it was really serious. Transferred him to an ER doctor. ER doctor like had a bunch of things that like it could have been, but weren't sure. It wasn't until the next day where they did the x-ray and they were like, okay, we need to like do a exploratory surgery to see what's going on. And so after he had his surgery, he was fine for a couple hours, they said. And she called us. I was streaming on Twitch and she was like, hey, your dog is fine. Did really good at surgery. We're going to feed him in a couple hours, blah, blah, blah. And like, they didn't really call us to come see him because like they didn't think his case was that serious. And then out of nowhere, I don't know what happened, but he just collapsed. And, we drove there as fast as he can to go see him. And his little body was already kind of going. His eyes were not registering. And, like sometimes when death happens, your body does a lot of really weird things. He was like twitching and like looked like spazzing or seizing a lot. And like, I felt like he wasn't there. It was just super, super sad. And, he went into cardiac arrest, but I told them I wanted them to resuscitate him. Yeah, so they resuscitated him, but when they brought him back, his lungs weren't functioning on his own, even though his heart was. And so we debated for a couple hours, thinking like, okay, should we keep him on like support and blah, blah, blah. But when we finally got to go back and see him, we saw that he was already dead. Like, even though his heart was beating, he was already gone. So, yeah. So I don't know. I feel so bad. I feel like there's always things that you like look back on and you're like, oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. We should have went to a different hospital and different doctor or something. Cause like the surgery that he did, usually has like a pretty good success rate. You go in there, you take the object out. But I don't know, maybe he didn't have good surgeons. Maybe he was just at that small window of patients that just, had like septic shock and just didn't make it, because usually like what's kind of important about that surgery is you have to make sure when you cut out the intestines, you sew it back and make sure it's really tight so there's no leakage of like bacteria into the bloodstream or anything like that. So I mean, maybe he was just one of the few where he just had like certain complications. But I don't know, what didn't help was that the doctor that we dealt with, like she was probably like the worst doctor to deal with at that time, because I think she was still really new to her job. Which I don't mind, because like, obviously you have to get experience somehow, but like, I don't know, the way that she communicated with us was just very bizarre and like weird. Although I don't know, I have a lot of mixed feelings about her. But yeah, I don't know. I miss Stevie, but we got like, videos that I've been watching. I've been recording like surveillance footages of him, trying to get his like last moments and stuff like that. And yeah, we miss Steve. He couldn't do anything. He was just too sassy for this world. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we always say that like, we did extend his life because he almost died when he was 5 years old. He had like really bad pancreatitis, and we did everything we can to keep him alive. It was very, very, very expensive. But this time it was just, it was kind of one of those things where it's like, you can keep them on life support, but it was like really expensive. But the most important thing was that when we went to go see him, like we're like, oh, he was already gone. Like there was the medical technician that was there. She was manually pumping air in his lungs using like the little balloon thing. But yeah, oh no, my poodle passed away 3 weeks ago from swallowing a rock. It was her third surgery in 5 years for the same thing. Yeah, I was watching videos. So I started getting really like, I don't know, I was watching live surgery videos of vet surgeons performing the surgery because I just want to understand like what happened, But yeah, they say that like if your pet has a penchant for eating weird things, you really got to keep an eye on them. But for Steve, we just didn't really know, because, I know like he ate like like 3 years ago, he climbed on our table and then jumped to our dining table. Like he climbed our sofa, jumped to the dining table, and had like 100 milligram of like this edibles. And we took him to the hospital because we thought he was having seizures. But the doctor was like, "Oh, your dog's just really high, but your dog should be fine." And so I don't know. He would eat the toys, but like not really though. He would like kind of pick at it. Sometimes you find little tiny fuzz. But I don't know if it's because like, I just blame myself because like Saturday and Sunday, like Saturday, I went to Home Depot and ran a bunch of errands. We returned a bunch of packages. So that's like a 4-hour window where he's like home by himself. Usually I'm home or we take him with us, right? But he was home by himself. And then Sunday, we went to like a birthday party that was like pretty far. We were gone for like maybe 3-4 hours. So I don't know if he was just like really fucking bored and decided to just like eat the fuzz. Which we usually try to take the toys away, but I don't know what happened. I still have the bag of fuzz that they gave us, and it looks like a lot of fuzz. But oh man, dude, when she called me saying that like our dog was like collapsing and we need to get there ASAP, we got there and she didn't tell me what happened to Steve, so I assumed that he died because like people were telling me like they're like, "Oh hey, I'm really sorry," and I was just like, "Oh okay, did he die already?" I wasn't sure. So the doctor comes in and shows us like the fuzz that he ate, but then she shows us like a jar of like pieces of his organs and intestine. And I almost started laughing because I felt like I was like being pranked or something. It was so fucking bizarre. It was so fucking weird. I was like, why the fuck is she showing me this right now? If she were to show it to me after he survived and she's like, "Oh, by the way, this is the biopsy we did, blah, blah, blah," then I would have been like, yeah, cool. I like seeing like weird shit like that, right? But the fact that like I came over and I wasn't sure if he was dead yet and she was showing me jars of his liver and intestines, I was like, what the fuck is this? It was just so fucking weird. I was like, I don't know. It was so dark. I don't know. I think she just has to work on bedside manners severely, but anyways, I knew she was really upset though, because she really thought that Steve was going to be fine. And then like, yeah, I don't know. It was such a bizarre experience. Whew. You have ever to be upset? It sounds very traumatic. Yeah, it's tough. You don't have pets anymore. It's so difficult giving them up. Yeah. I mean, I got this guy back here. Cheryl's still here, you know. He's still hanging out. But yeah, I just miss Steve. You know, I miss him. We got a little digital photo frame where we uploaded all his pictures on there, and I don't know, he's just a silly little guy. But you know, luckily his regular doctor was amazing though. His regular doctor, yeah, she was great. She like really took care of him, and when she referred us out, she was like, "Hey, I don't want to like send you guys out and have you guys like redo this all over again." So she was calling all the different hospitals to see if she could talk to a real doctor and then tell them the update and like let them know that we're coming. So luckily his regular vet was great. And yeah, I definitely was going to write her a note and be like, "Hey, thank you so much. Like, even though Stevie didn't make it, I really appreciate all the work and effort you did." Yeah, they're going to do the paw print thing, you know. Oh, God. Just so sad. Poor little Bubba's, you know. I hope he wasn't suffering, and I hope he didn't think that we just abandoned him there. Because I feel like every time he gets sick, he always goes to the vet. And I don't want him to think that like, oh, you know, it was his fault that he got sick and we abandoned him. And I don't know if dogs even have that kind of complex thoughts, but, you know, maybe. Yeah, they have to be careful how they approach a situation. Sometimes they don't think about how the pet parents will react. Poor Steve. I know it's hard no matter what. Yeah, and like the weird thing was that like when we got there, when she was trying to tell us what happened, she like started breaking down crying to the point where she couldn't get her words out. And I was trying to understand what she was saying. But it was really weird because Dennis and I were like comforting her, like, "Oh, it's okay, it's okay." But like, it was just weird because I don't know. I guess I think it's just because she's just still really new. And she just hasn't seen that much like animal death yet. And it's still really upsetting, I guess. But yeah, I kind of wish I had a more experienced doctor to communicate with us at least. Because the communication part is like, I feel like is key. But yeah, anyways, our hospital gave us a candle. Oh, the beautiful cord as well. Yeah, I mean, well, we hired a service where they're going to have his body cremated and stuff like that. But I don't know. I remember like a day or two after he'd already died, his body was still at the hospital, you know. And I was just like, oh my God, he's just like still there and like all by himself. And Oh, poor buddy. Anyways, guys. But anyway, so if you guys have pets or anything, give them all the loves, the hugs, the kisses. Because you never know. Sometimes when they do something or something that's not their fault, sometimes they just decline really rapidly. And yeah, you don't want to have any regrets that you didn't spend enough time with your loved ones. People too, people, kids, parents, and all that. Yeah, they have to be careful. Oh, I read that already. She probably needs some feedback on how she can improve in the future. I don't know how to give her feedback without being aggressive. Maybe one day if I see her by the streets or something, like, hey, by the way, like, you were my doctor like 5 years ago. Just want to say, like, I hope your bedside manners are better now because you sort of traumatized me, but it's okay. I get it. You're new and it takes time to learn. Hi, Celie. How are you doing today? Yeah, we got Baxter's cremated, buried him under the tree of my parents. Oh. Yeah, most of you don't want to see the dog post-mortem, but you can. It's a choice thing usually. Yeah, like, no, when we saw him when he was going, he pretty much looked really bad. It was really traumatizing. Like, his eyes were open. It was glazed over. He had his tongue hanging out, but the tongue looked like it was very dead. And, like, yeah, it was... His body was all cold. I do want to note, though, that even though his body was cold, his feet, his ears and everything, his butt was still warm. I was like, oh, Steve. Oh, Stevie. His little corgi butt was still warm. But yeah, it was really traumatizing to see that. But I've had pets pass away before, so that's kind of helped me a little bit because I know what death looks like. If you've never seen it before, it's just so sad. But yeah, when we were kids, we've had pets that passed away. My mom would bring their body back home and illegally buried in our backyard. But yeah, oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, but Stevie lived a good life. So yeah, she hasn't dealt with many emergency situations. At least she was empathetic. She probably just felt bad that she couldn't help him. That's why I could not be in that field. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm like after this, I'm like, man, maybe I should be a veterinarian. Maybe I work with my own damn pets, do my own surgeries and everything. I don't know. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for hanging. I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for chatting with me. My cat got out last week at 3 a.m. Spent the night looking for her and the cat came back the next day. Oh, cat's like, Mom, I'll never leave ever again. I missed you. I miss you. Liberties on your fireplace mantle. Yeah, I'm trying to figure. I want to make like a little sculpture thing for Steve and put his ashes in there and then maybe disperse his ashes elsewhere too. Like I'll just have him everywhere in the house or something. But I'm at the point right now where like I don't want to clean my house because his hair is still everywhere. Like I don't want to vacuum. I don't want anything. I mean, I know I have to because of dust and everything, but I don't know. There's like parts of the house where I just don't want to vacuum because like his hair is still there. Oh. I couldn't handle the emotional side, honestly. I'm good in high stress situations, but it'd be hard to have to take care of many people's pet medically knowing that anything could happen. Yeah. Oh, man. I wish you happier days, Corgi, besides all the dogs go to heaven. Yeah, maybe I should watch that movie, All Dogs Go to Heaven. I've been watching a lot of cartoons and stuff, and we've been hanging out with Shiro. Oh, he just left us. Been hanging with Shiro a lot, so yeah. Give all your cats, your pets, your lizards, iguanas, tarantulas, whatever pets you have, dogs, cats, give them all the love for me, okay? Because you never know. But anyways, guys, thank you for hanging out. I hope you guys... Not a fun time here because we cover a lot of dark stuff, especially today. It was pretty dark today, but thank you so much for popping in. I'll keep an eye out for, I don't know, maybe there'll be stuff happening with the Sarah Boone stuff. I don't know, because I feel like they haven't really been playing any of it live. We kind of get footages like afterwards from like Court TV and stuff, or like regular or like random news stations. But this Friday, possible Schabusiness stuff, Sarah Boone stuff, and then next week Schabusiness trial. And yeah, other than that, again. Thanks for being here. It's nice chatting with you guys. It's a great movie. Oh, the movie will make you cry. Oh, yeah. I was trying to watch Happy Kids movie. I watched like Minions, like Rise of Gru. I watched what else did I watch? Watched like some other movies and stuff where I was like, okay, I want something happy, or I play Final Fantasy 16. Dude, every movie just has death. Is there a movie that has no death? Can I watch something where like no one dies? No funerals or anything? The Brooke stuff? Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not really caught up with the Brooke stuff. I know that he's going to stuff with like his ex-girlfriend. Yeah, I'm assuming. Maybe. I'll rewatch. Bye, Crystal. Thanks for hanging out. You can't wait for Dune Part 2. Oh, The Goonies. I love The Goonies. That movie's so good. Bluey the movie? Okay. No funerals there. Okay. Goonies. Bluey the movie. I've never heard that before. You know what? I did like Aladdin. People hate on the live action Aladdin and Will Smith. I actually liked it. I thought it was okay. Aw, thanks, Dragon Man. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Good having you guys here. I'm starting to stream for a little bit. Honestly, it was just like, my mind was just way too clouded to like even read anything true crime related. I was just like, oh God, don't want to deal with death right now. But other than that, thank you for being here, and I appreciate chatting with you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful, lovely day. Give all your beautiful fur friends, your scaled friends, or scaly friends, or even like spidery friends, long-legged friends, tailed friends, no-tail friends. I don't know, whatever pets you guys have. Give them all the love for me, all right, guys? Thank you.